So you should call him a loser.
You're a loser.
Oh, he gave him the point.
But you know
Did
what
that hurt? That hurt. On today's part of my take, we got a twofer for the people. Nuggets head coach Michael Malone. Awesome interview with him. And then Big Jay Oakerson, incredible stand-up comedian. He's got a new special out. He was in studio. So an extra long part of my take. Remember, we only have Tuesday and Friday this week. So if you want to save some for Wednesday, you can. We have Game 7, Celtics Heat. We're going to talk about that game, where Hank's head is at. Also, maybe someone getting a random smooch over the weekend. Who's back of the week, and Succession finale, series finale. So we'll talk about that after the interviews. So if you haven't watched it, just don't listen to the last 10 minutes of the show because there will be spoilers. Before we do all of that, we are brought to you by ourselves, the Barstool Sportsbook. Today's part of my take is brought to you by the Barstool Sportsbook. The Barstool Sportsbook is now offering a $1,000 bonus for new players. If your first bet loses, get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Hank, can you open up the Barstool Sportsbook? Let me know if there's a line for Game 1 of the NBA Finals. And you can go right now, download and create an account today. Use code TAKE to unlock your $1,000 bonus. Be sure to use code TAKE to unlock your $1,000 bonus. Terms apply. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Do we have a line?
Whose line is it anyway?
Nuggets -8.
Jake?
Nuggets -6.5.
PFT?
Billy? No.
I was waiting for Hank to say my name.
no.
Hank doesn't want to say my name
He doesn't
right
want
now.
to say it. He doesn't want to say
Say
it.
my name, bitch.
Billy?
-4.
Okay.
Who?
Nuggets.
Okay.
Max?
I'll say Nuggets -8.
It's Nuggets -9.
Wow.
That's what I was gonna
Okay.
say.
So NBA Finals starting. We also have the Stanley Cup Finals starting, which is set, which I accidentally said was set in the synopsis on Friday's show. Turns out I was right, though. The Knights are going to play the Panthers. You can bet all of these things at the Barstool Sportsbook. $1,000 bonus for new players. If your first bet loses, get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Download and create an account today. Use code TAKE to unlock your $1,000 bonus. Be sure to use code TAKE to unlock your $1,000 bonus. Terms apply. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Okay, let's go. Welcome to Part of My Take. Today is Tuesday, May 30th. And the Boston Celtics are dead. Game 7, absolute whomping by the Miami Heat. We're going to get to every single angle. Hank, Jake, Max, who was a Boston Celtics fan for one game and one game only. But PFT, I got to start with you because you have to feel incredible relief for your bet, the $10,000 to win $1,000 when you bet the Heat up 3-0 and the Panthers up 3-0. Cashes got to be the biggest relief of all time.
It was an investment, Big Cat. It wasn't a bet. The mission was always to make 10% ROI on your investment. It had never happened before in the history of the NBA. And there's a reason why I didn't do this bet if it was a 6-game series. You need 7 games. You need that extra cushion there to win. So this all fell into the model. Statistically, it was exactly where I wanted to be. It's no different than if we had won Game 4, that we won Game 7. It's 10%. Then we collect, we regroup, we move on. I need Carl Nassib, though, to tell me how many times I need to make this bet before I become a quadrillionaire, like the compound interest. I don't know how that works, but I'm pretty sure if I take the squarest parlay of all time at 10% ROI, eventually I'll be the richest man on earth.
Yes.
So I'm waiting to hear how I can, I guess, advance and use my winnings to make more money. But, you know, it wasn't about me. It wasn't about the bet. I hated to win the bet that way. When you had Jason Tatum go down with a sprained ankle on the first play of the game, pretty much.
We don't root for
injuries. That he
injuries.
was not going to be himself on defense. He wasn't moving at all on offense. Every shot that he was taking, it was like he was thinking really hard before every single shot, trying to will his way to be able to get a little bit of elevation on any shot. So it was tough. You don't want to win that way. If I could give the money back, I would, because it felt dirty, honestly,
huge.
winning that 10% that way.
Yeah, it's Warren Buffett the guy from Wolf of Wall Street, and PFT, the greatest investors of our time. Let's talk to Hank. Should we, PFT? Should we talk to Hank?
Well, we can talk to Hank. I don't know if he's going to talk back to us.
Good point. We do not know if Hank will partake in today's Pardon My Take, coming off an L. Henry, you're trending on Twitter. Some are saying that you ended the stream early.
I didn't.
Okay, the stream
Fiction.
did end early, PFT.
I don't push the buttons. Fact or fiction?
Where are you at mentally? Why don't you tell us how you're feeling? And please do elaborate. Use your words as much. The beauty of a podcast is there are no commercial breaks.
That's true, Big Cat. I'm here as I always am. I'm always ready to give my takes. I'm feeling very disappointed. There was a lot of excitement going into the game. It almost felt like people from Boston were a little bit too sure the Celtics were going to win. Everyone was already kind of counting the Red Sox and Celtics as the first two teams to ever come back from 3-0 before it actually happened.
Not you.
I was expecting them to come out. Too anxious or ready to blow the doors off and miss some shots, and that happened. I wasn't surprised in the first quarter or second quarter, and then the third quarter they had a run. They had the momentum. The crowd was in it. They were getting defensive stops, and they just could not make a shot. They had some really, really bad turnovers, a lot of turnovers, I think like 14 or 15, and they just could not hit a shot. Obviously, Tatum going down in the first play, not going to make excuses, but that's never what you want. Mm-hmm. And besides Derek White, no one was hitting shots.
So let me ask you a question. Not to make excuses, because Tatum's injury was real. Like you could see, he was hobbled. He was not the same. But you brought up a point that you thought a lot of people were saying Game 7 was over. Like you guys were good. Walk me through Saturday night when Derek White makes that putback. One of the most insane endings to an NBA game with the stakes as high as they could be. You yourself are not thinking we got this.
Oh, I absolutely did.
Oh, okay.
I was.
Okay.
Listen, I said it after Game 4. It felt like it did. There was a lot of comparisons to 2004. They got blown out Game 3. Then they get it to 7, and then in Game 7, obviously that was a blowout. So obviously that's how you felt. We've been in this way before, and in Game 7 we blew them out. I was confident. I felt like we had all the momentum on our side, and we did. And then our star player got hurt, and we couldn't. It's not even. There's no excuses to be made. They just missed every single shot.
Mm-hmm. Live by the 3, die by the 3.
And they died by the 3. Game 6 was unbelievable. PFT, I was with PFT. Just that win and the day after did feel like a Game 7 win. It felt like a series win. I was basking in it. I truly was.
I mean, the way that you won Game 6 is almost better than winning the series. That was just such an incredible finish.
That's true. And coming back, counts essentially as a win.
No, see, I said that too. That's the true hard part of being a Boston sports fan that people always make fun of us for. But we lost a Game 7 at home to an 8 seed in hockey. We lost a Game 7 at home to an 8 seed in basketball.
Is there anyone in this room that roots for both those teams?
Wait, were they both? It was both from the same part of the country?
Yep.
Is there anyone in this room who has just
Jake.
complete ownership of Henry Lockwood?
Jake Marsh.
Oh, no. Jake? That guy? He owns you?
Yeah.
Can you say it?
South Florida
will you
owns
say it?
Boston.
But will you say what I just said? Jake Marsh owns Henry Lockwood.
Yeah, Jake Marsh owns Henry Lockwood. I had all the momentum. I had PFT's really stupid bet, and then Max had, obviously we'll get to it, the dumbest video and funniest video maybe in the history of this podcast, and it just sucks so much that it doesn't matter as much because the Celtics lost the series. If the Celtics had won that series, I'm still going to, relive that video many times. But
oh, yeah.
I need a rolling.
If they had won the series, it just would have been so much sweeter. And it sucks. It's a disappointment. As fun as the series was, as fun as Saturday night was, it's a letdown. They should have been in that spot. They win Game 1 or 2, and then they could have won the series in 6. But
it's USA losing the gold is what happened.
Yeah.
Because you had the moment. You had the iconic moment in Game 6. You had the iconic kiss heard around the world with Max and his bro. And all of it gets just kind of erased from history. Except the Max and the kiss. That will come up often.
do you want to explain it?
Yeah, all right, yeah, we could explain it. So in Game 6, the Derek White game, which was insane. Like,
And the Celtics almost blew that game. That's the other part of that game, that the Celtics shouldn't have even been in that position.
Well,
If Duncan Robinson makes a wide open three, one of two shots that he had at the end, then we're not even talking about Game 7. And by the way, we were wrong. We said that Game 6 was Game 7. We said that Game 5 was Game 6. Game 7 was Game 7.
It's
actually.
true. That
so
was
it's a good
the
lesson.
Yeah.
Game 7 is always Game 7.
That was the true must win. By the way, next time we have Duncan Robinson on, Jake, remind me to ask him. I think on that 3 he shot with like 1:40 left, he shouldn't have dribbled. He dribbled once, and he was when he caught the ball, he was in perfect rhythm to just rise and shoot. He had one dribble, and I think that took him out of his rhythm, but just put a pin in that one. But so, back to Saturday night. Incredible. It wasn't an incredible game. I actually was sitting on my couch being like, what did I just watch? Because it felt like both teams wanted to lose, and it wasn't well played, but it had the most insane ending ever because you had Jimmy Butler, terrible for 44 minutes that he played 46. Last 2 minutes, he scores 10 points, gets the 3-point foul, hits all 3 free throws to go up
Wait
one.
a second. It was a 2-point foul
Yes.
that Missoula challenged into a 3-point
but
challenge.
then got you the 0.9 seconds back, too.
Yeah.
And, it was a dumb challenge.
It was maybe the worst challenge of all time.
Ever. And so Jimmy Butler nails all 3, ice in his veins, 3 seconds left, ball out at half court. Marcus Smart turns, misses a shot, misses a 3-pointer, and Derek White gets to the rebound where he was the inbounder, gets to the rebound, puts it up in with no time left on the clock. Maybe the most ridiculous ending because everyone was watching Marcus Smart miss and being like, series over, game over, everything's over. And Derek White just snuck in there and did it. Meanwhile, I'm on my couch. PFT and Hank are watching together. Saturday night, holiday weekend. We're not streaming. Max decided that content is king, which I want to give him a little. If we had Buckeye stickers, we could put on our helmets. Max gets a couple of cameras on his helmet for Saturday night because he could have done nothing. He could have enjoyed his weekend. He could have been at the bar doing nothing but having fun. Instead, he decided to do live reaction videos. So not live. He didn't go live. He took the video, then he posted it on Twitter. He posted the video of Marcus Smart missing and Derek White hitting the shot, of him like being happy and then being like, holy shit, Derek White got this in time. Mixed in there, his boyfriend.
Just my boy.
All right, I just want to get it right.
He's my boy.
We're about to
Do
be
you
in
know
Pride
him?
Month. We're about to be in Pride Month.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That was something I was
His
curious.
boy
I was hoping it was a random.
sneaks the softest, most sensual kiss on Max's ear. It was like the tiniest, littlest kiss. It was the kiss. It was the kiss you kiss before you get your dick sucked. That's what the kiss was. And not only does Max have that kiss happen, but then he posts the video. Again, no need to post anything. And it will live in lore of this show forever. PFT, when you saw it, I mean, your reaction was probably the same as like I watched it. I stayed up. There's little moments where like I talk about being tired because of my kids, but when I have to actually like break it down, I'm not tired because of my kids. I'm tired because Max gets sensually kissed by his boy at 11:30 at night, and then I stay up till 1:30 reading all the replies and people roasting Max. That's why I'm really tired. That's the problem.
So first of all, what was Max doing even filming himself for this? Like I agree with you. I'm glad that it happened. Max he's not a Heat fan. He's just trying to claw back a little tiny bit of self-respect after having to shave his face because Hank beat him. So he starts live streaming. He's not live streaming. He takes the video and he's getting his loser stench all over the Heat.
Yep.
I was so fucking mad at Max for putting his loserness and the entire Philly sports fan thing onto the Miami Heat. Completely fucked everything up at the end. He had no business doing that. I'm glad, again.
What happened tonight?
I'm glad he did. So tonight we had a little word on the part of my take text thread before
You haven't
the
even
game.
said thank you yet.
And thank you, Max. I asked Max to start rooting for the Celtics because I can't have him rooting for Miami. I need him rooting for the Celtics in order to fully support our friend Jake in the Miami Heat. And yeah, maybe my $10,000, I almost said the B word, investment that I had. But Max, it was I just couldn't believe what I saw. I was like, why is Max doing this? Why is he all-time unforced error?
Yeah.
Putting that up. But again, I'm very glad that it happened.
Yes, and Max did do a phenomenal job of being a Celtics fan tonight. His last tweet tonight was, "Damn, thought we had it. Always next year. Hashtag Boston Celtics," which I don't think I've ever seen anyone hashtag the entire team name. But hold on, timeout. I'm going to take a Eric Spoelstra timeout where he just walks on the court and demands a timeout, which is the most power move of all time. I realized what just happened here. Hank just did a really good job of deflecting what was going to be the sadness of Hank onto Max, which I'm happy we took that detour. But why don't we go back to Hank?
I do. After me, I need to hear from Max. I need to hear about the next morning or like when it set in that,
Okay, yeah, tell
he
us
took
that
a
now,
video
Max.
of his boy kissing him on the cheek. Did you know the kiss happened?
I don't think I knew that the kiss happened. It was very soft. It was a very very
sensual.
it was a very soft kiss.
Yeah. It was like, babe, let's get an Uber and get out of here.
Number one, I don't really know why I was taking those videos. I think in the moment I was like, it had the makings of an epic Boston collapse, and like part of that made it feel like it was going to be a win for me, and I was like, I need to capture this moment of this win. Like, I don't get these often, and then it started to come.
Gotten it. It wasn't your team.
I know, no, but there. Yeah, I know. I
How big of a loser you are.
Yeah.
You know what this is? Max is to Hank as Big Cat is to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
you
yes.
were trying, but you can't celebrate until the banner's raised.
I know. And then I took that video, and I can't even tell you if I remember the kiss or not. The kiss.
Oh, you'll never forget that.
So
kid.
then,
No.
walk me through the next morning.
Yeah,
Like,
what
when,
did the guys
like,
say?
No, I mean instantly.
realize
Instantly,
what
it started
you had done?
to started to blow up, and I was like, "Do you understand like what you just did?" And he's like the guy in my friend group who's just always. He's just the bit guy
always
who's
kissing
always
you? Yeah.
no. He's just always doing.
He's like jerking you off, like doing weird shit. Yeah, that guy.
yeah, he's that guy. Yeah, but I had to post a video. It was a funny video. I didn't have to post a video.
What did he say after? Did he explain the kiss? Did he say anything?
No, he like still hasn't given me an explanation for why he did it. I think he just saw that I was recording,
and kiss.
and then like it was like it'll be so funny if I in his mind ruined this video with a kiss.
And he did.
But
he made the video.
yeah, but he did the opposite.
Yeah, yeah.
In your eyes, he did the opposite.
He's a hero. Like, I want him on the show. I want to talk to him.
Just have
I
him
want
sit behind Max.
Yeah,
while you're
so
close.
to kiss you. I want to just like how much reasonably does he does he do well?
It all what?
Like, does he do well in his profession?
Yeah, he's great residential real estate in Philly.
But I'm asking what do PFD and I have to put up to have him just walk behind you and kiss you all the time?
That's a good question. I'd have to
Mid
ask
six
him.
figs?
I'd have to ask him.
Have you ever
Okay.
kissed him back?
Obviously not. I didn't even.
Well, no, that's not obvious.
yeah,
That is not
that's
obvious.
true. That's true.
Wait.
Very
So
much
this is
so.
the first time they've ever kissed you?
It also makes it worse that he looks so much similar to me, but just a better
Much
look.
better
Much,
eyebrows.
yeah. His eyebrows are insane. He's
Yeah.
he gets those eyebrows done.
Yeah.
I'll put that out there to the world. He gets those eyebrows professionally done.
You can tell.
Yeah.
First thing I noticed before the kiss.
He's just got great
Wait.
brows.
We should go back to Hank though for a second.
Yeah, no, we should go back to Hank
Because-
for a long time.
I do have some questions for you, Hank.
Yes, I do too.
Hank, would you have rather gotten swept or lost Game 7 in heartbreaking fashion at home after thinking that you were about to win Game 7 and complete really like the Red Sox,
How long is this question
Patriots,
gonna
Super
go?
Bowl 28-3, like the Boston Triple Crown of comebacks?
I would have rather lost Game 7.
Okay, I'll go question. Hank, do you regret any of your actions, notably being silent during losses and a cocky asshole during wins? this
No,
entire
that's. I mean,
series?
this is just that's fan fiction made up by you. I've never been
I
that.
don't know.
I've been
think
on
the
every
fans will-
stream.
I think the fans.
I've done
fan
it every
fiction, they'll
stream. I've
agree.
answered on every single podcast. I'm happy when they win. I'm sad when they lose. If that's wrong, I don't want to be right. I don't know what you want me to say.
Sad / mute.
What does that mean? Was I sad / mute tonight?
No, because you knew the fire was on. You knew you had to show up. Well, you did then end the stream early. Next follow-up question.
That was a biased question.
What?
How's that biased?
Objection.
That
Objection.
wasn't biased. I was just asking a question.
It's just fact or fiction.
It's a leading
Your
question.
words per minute are higher after a win than after a loss.
Leading question.
Yeah. Okay. Where do the Celtics go from here? Because I'll just throw a couple things out there. Al Horford is old.
Yep.
Great player, great career. But you saw it like in the series. You didn't know some nights he just was old. And then he would all of a sudden, Al Horford has this incredible knack of like being like 25-year-old Al Horford when did he block Jimmy Butler at the rim? Like insane shit. Al Horford's old. Jaylen Brown does not know how to dribble. I don't know if that's something he's going to learn. And then, I mean, Jason Tatum, obviously, I think Jason Tatum probably smells the best coming out of this run just because he did have moments where he was the alpha and he did get injured in this game. But where do you go? And Marcus Smart, I don't know. Do you keep rolling out the same thing year after year and not getting over the hump?
Yeah, I mean, the Jaylen Brown thing is interesting just because of the Supermax. Like, if they give him the Supermax, then, him and Tatum will be by far the most, like, paid two players in the whole league.
He can't dribble.
That was tonight when Tatum gets injured. You kind of need Jaylen Brown to go off. He tried. He took a lot of shots. He didn't make a lot of them. And, yeah, he was just a lot of turnovers. He's so young. It's just the Supermax thing is where it gets complicated. I think you explore. I think there's some exploring that has to be done.
Okay.
Coaching, I think you have to look at the roster. I don't think you touch Tatum. I really don't think you touch Jaylen Brown, but if they can figure something out,
do you think
maybe
he
you do
learns
it.
how to dribble eventually? Because this did happen last year too.
It did happen last year. The free throws happened last year. The free throws happened this year. That's what's tough when you're this young of a team, but it's almost like the magic with Shaq and Penny. It's like, why would you split them up just because they're so young? Like, they're so young.
No,
they went to the finals. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals. They went to Game 7. Obviously, 2 disappointing years, but
you're in a weird spot.
Blow it up with two
Yeah.
NBA All-Star players that are like both under 26.
No, you're in a weird spot because the Celtics, if you roll out the Celtics exactly the same, they're still a top 5 team in the NBA. I think that's confidently you can say that. They have 2 incredibly talented young guys, but there does feel like it's like running into a brick wall a little bit without at least some tweaks to the roster.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, switching a coach
spin
too,
zone,
that's
though.
obviously
Yeah.
if it's the same coach. Who knows?
That would be the 4th different coach in 4 years, though. And at some point, you got to be like, maybe it's the players. Although Ime obviously didn't get fired. Well, he did. But that was weird. He would still be the coach if he could just not fuck.
Right. So if the Celtics had come back, taken Game 7, got into the finals, and had a respectable showing in the finals, like 1-2 games against the Nuggets, there would be chatter about keeping Missoula. They're making the decision for you. You're going to fire Missoula this offseason. So that's kind of a win right there.
I don't know. I think Brad likes him.
Yeah, and so Missoula's been obviously criticized a lot. But if you actually put up his resume next to Ime Udoka, it's not that dissimilar. Like, they went, I think, the Celtics last year, they swept the Nets in the first round, then they went 7, then they went 7, and then they lost in the finals. I mean, this year, obviously, they went 6 in the first round, but they 7-7. They came up short tonight. But it wasn't like I think Missoula won more regular season games. I'm just saying, like, if you look at it just objectively, both resumes, they're very similar, and the team is obviously very, very talented. So maybe he's the fall guy. I don't know.
Well, I'm looking at it like Ryan Day, Urban Meyer is Joe Missoula. So I don't think you could, like, if Ime Udoka is coaching this team, I think that they win the series. I don't think that that's unreasonable to say that he's worth at least 1 extra game in a playoff series like this.
Although Missoula got him back from down 3-0. Like, that also happened, right? Like, that I think that if they got swept, it's a no-brainer because it felt like if they had given up in game 4 and it's like, clearly this is not working. But to be that close to history, like, he did something right in the last 3 games.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they did win 3 games in a row. Like, I think it's not as cut and dry, obviously, as it would have been, but I still think, like, the way especially that they looked like they were giving up at the end of Game 3 was bad. That's a position where like a good coach can at least drag effort out of guys. In a game 3, when you're looking like you're about to go down 3-0 in a series that you should win, that you're a big time favorite to win, I think a decent coach at least gets some effort out of those guys at the time. I'm just saying, like, if I were Hank, I would want to fire him.
Yeah. So what, Hank? If you're Brad Stevens, you are Brad Stevens for a day. What do you do?
I explore.
You just you spend the whole day exploring.
Yeah, I start
like
making
Max
some calls
on the Jersey Shore on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
Just explore.
Yeah. I start trying to, connect some dots, see what pieces we can do. If there's a good move, you make it, but you don't have to force anything. I don't think they don't have to force anything. Like you said, if they come back.
Yeah, they're a top 5 team.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a weird spot to be in if you're like, know that you have a chance to be competing for titles, but also know that something is a little off, that something needs to change a little bit to get over that hump.
Just got to make shots.
Yeah, it's a make or miss league. I have a couple more questions for Hank. Do you have a couple more, PFT? You have any more for Hank?
Yeah, I've got a couple more.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Hank, do you think that Jimmy Butler is Michael Jordan's son?
No.
But
Not his secret child. Why not?
maybe.
I mean, anything's possible, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's possible.
So you're not
Anything
saying is
is
it 0%
possible.
chance?
No.
Okay. So there's a chance. Billy just perked
Does-
up. Billy's
does that
gonna be
make-
like definitively yes.
No, I was researching this over the weekend. There's some very interesting pictures of his mother with Michael Jordan around 9 months before his conception. Or
There was
no.
pictures of his mother with Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Can I see those pictures?
Yeah, that was the craziest part.
Okay.
Where did you find these in the same website that you saw pictures of Mother Teresa with Dr. Fauci?
I was gonna say I haven't seen these pictures,
No.
but I'm gonna trust you, Billy, at this one moment, at this juncture. What other questions you got for Hank?
That was really the only last one that I had for him.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Do you think maybe you would have won this game if Jason Tatum had painted red paint onto his ankle after he hurt his ankle?
No, I wish. I don't know what the difference between the NFL and the NBA is, but Patrick Mahomes fucked his
Toughness?
ankle up, and he went into halftime, and they juiced him up with some of the strongest shit ever. He came out and he was fine. I was hoping that at halftime, like that, they were gonna make that same call, get him that same juice, and he looked more hurt in the second half than the first. I was really hoping for some halftime
Shot
miracle. Yeah,
It is. Jimmy Butler did turn his ankle by my count 700 times in the last 5 weeks. I don't know. Maybe Jason he did look very injured. I will say that. Like you can't be like, oh, he looked fine and he just didn't show up. Like he looked injured. I just don't. We see sprained ankles a lot, and it's Game 7.
Okay.
That's what's wrong with what I said?
I don't. It sounds like you're trying to downplay the injury or say like, oh,
I'm just. It's Game 7. Leave it all out on the floor.
He
I
he
simply-
literally did.
I simply would have wanted it more.
Yeah, I would have taped up my ankle and been like, I'm good to go.
I think Jimmy Butler's ankle wanted it more than Jason Tatum's ankle.
One thing about me and PFT, if we turn our ankle, we don't come out of a Game 7.
No,
I mean,
never.
50 can't
never.
even
You'd
walk
have
without
you-
breaking his foot.
You would have to kill me. You would have to kill me like a racehorse out there.
Okay, Hank, my other questions. Where's your sadness at right now? Give it to me.
Out of 10,
You've talked some shit.
I have talked some shit, and like I said, I can't enjoy. You can't enjoy Game 6 really. I would say it's probably an 8.
8 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean first of all, you expect them in the beginning of the series to go to the championship, like that's an expectation.
You
and then
did
obviously
have the quote that you went and scouted the Eastern Conference second round semifinals, the Knicks and the Heat, being like, how do we lose to either of these teams?
I said it's hard not to watch these two teams and not think about the finals, which was fair. The game was trash. And so you expect to win the series before the series starts, and you go down 3-0. And then when it's like, we can do this again, 28-3, 2004 Red Sox, 2023 Celtics, this would be amazing. Max got kissed. This is going to be so funny. Like
he did get kissed.
it went, it's a double sadness.
What about is there a feeling like, because you going into this game, you had the same feeling of like you're gonna do it because you've done it. Now the shine is off a little. Does it give you hesitation next time you're trying to do something like this?
No.
No,
You gotta just go
so
for
you're
it.
unflappable in that regard.
Yeah, you got to fight.
Okay. There's no loser creeping in your brain.
No, it'd be one thing if they lost, or it'd be one thing if they got they obviously got
Well, they got
beat,
killed.
but
They got killed tonight.
They beat themselves. Like, they did not play a game that you needed to play in Game 7 to win. Like, it wasn't even the Heat. He just hit their shots. The Celtics missed everything. They had good.
Yeah.
They had in the first half. They had way better opportunities, and they missed everything.
Everything.
You know what's crazy? Just a little sabermetrics. It's
Derek
been
White
over
was the only one
4
that
years since Hanks had a parade.
Damn.
That's a long ass time.
That's tough.
That's a long ass time. We should talk about the Heat. We should give the Heat some shine. And Jake, well, let's start with you, Jake.
Yeah.
So you got to be feeling very conflicted right now. On one hand, the Heat won, and PFT won his bet. On the other hand, Hank lost, and he's your friend. So you
Well-
kind of don't wish you had this, right?
Nope. This is the perfect scenario. You know why?
Why?
Because the Heat are in the NBA Finals, and the door's still open to play golf with Hank this month. 'Cause we're gonna be
Oh.
spending a lot of time together throughout June, so it's a perfect world.
So you should call him a loser.
You're a loser.
Oh, he gave him the point. He gave him the point.
But it's, you know
Did
what
that
I mean?
hurt? That hurt.
This is perfect. We're gonna be on the road a lot throughout
Look at
June.
that. Even
Terrible.
better. This
and
is great.
We're gonna be
Okay.
playing a lot of golf together, and the Heat still won.
Jake is
so
back. Jake is back.
You know what,
Perfect.
You know what's awesome?
It was
Jake
perfect.
knows he's a
is
better
that in
golfer
this
than me,
moment,
too.
Jake is being super extra polite to Hank by trying to tell him, hey, listen, we get to experience all these wonderful times together. But Jake doesn't realize that Hank's going to hate that because you're going to be a reminder
Yeah.
of how much you dominated him in these entire playoffs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I mean,
they're
there's
gonna go out
nothing
and
worse.
golf. Like, what do guys talk about when they golf?
Sports.
Sports, NBA Finals going on. What are we gonna talk about?
So it all worked out.
Jake, did you shake his hand?
Yeah, he actually initiated it. So
Oh.
that was good
Wow.
sportsmanship.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Jake earned it. I mean, he had to battle off you and Max. That's not an easy thing to do.
What? What
Jake-
was I doing?
No, I'm talking with PFT.
Oh,
No, my eyes are up here. You were
Yeah.
looking at Big Cat.
Yeah, you're looking at me.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he did have to battle off. Although Max put on a Game 7 performance to the age. Are you upset at Max at all?
No.
Okay, Max, what do you think the fixes are for your Celtics?
I can't describe. Again, it sucks because they lost, but the joy that video brought me, just the fact that he posted it in the first place, was just really gave me a lot of laughs on Sunday.
Max, what are the fixes for your Celtics?
First is stop talking about that video because Celtics lost and it doesn't matter.
Okay.
That's
Still
the first.
exists though.
But you lost, so it's fine. First, you got to blow it up. You got to blow it up. How many times can you get close? I mean, as a Celtics fan, I cannot stand watching this team get so close year after year and then falling short. It's bullshit. You didn't even shoot 40% from the field at Game 7 to go to the finals? Bullshit.
I can tell Max is very upset.
It's not wrong. Except the blow it up part is wrong.
I mean, you got to do something. We got to change something. This is Boston. We're about winning championships in Boston. All right. None of this close shit. Next year, though.
We're
Next
supposed
year's
to
our
be Title
year.
Town, Max.
We are supposed to be Title Town. That's the thing.
You know what would be perfect?
That's the one thing about Boston is we're fucking Title Town, baby.
It'd be so perfect if the Celtics listened to Max's advice and did some drastic moves, blew the team up, but made great moves and then came back and beat the fuck out of the Sixers next year.
Yes.
I mean,
Hey,
that
this
wouldn't
guy
change a
knows ball.
single thing.
This guy knows ball. All right, so let's talk about the Heat, though. That was, I mean, I, for one, thought the Celtics were going to win Game 7 because you can't have a more devastating Game 6 ending and have it be 3-3 after you have all these chances to close it out. I did think, though, when Spoelstra came to the press conference after Game 6, and he was like, it actually sounded like the dude online who's like trying to sell real estate or 10x or whatever, where you're like, you don't even believe this bullshit. He was like, it's just great competition. Like, we look forward to being able to compete one more time. As crazy as it sounds, though, like, it was smart of him because you have to just essentially just pretend none of that happened and go play Game 7. Whereas, like, I know personally, if I were the coach of the team that had just lost like that and it was 3-3, I'd have been like, it's over. We're dead. We shouldn't even show up. Fuck this. Like, this is all bullshit. and cry into a little puddle and just melt away as all the reporters try to ask me questions.
Yeah, I mean, Spoelstra definitely deserves credit. I think they said that he's been to the finals 6 of the last 15 years.
It's crazy
in the NBA. It's
Yeah.
it's crazy thing. Now, obviously, some of those were LeBron James and Dwayne Wade on your team, but he's a great coach. But he gets some credit, but Caleb Martin gets most of the credit tonight. So Caleb Martin was just unreal. I think he was the worst of the Martin twins, right? I think his brother got drafted, Caleb didn't. But then Caleb now is about to make like $100 million just based on this series. It's insane what he was able to do out there. One fun thing about him, Big Cat, I know you used to watch his games when he was on Nevada.
Bus. Yeah.
He was a double wolf pack. He went to NC State.
Yes.
He was on their wolf pack. He went wolf pack to wolf pack.
Yes.
In college.
Yeah, he's awesome. He just remembering from watching those Nevada games, I would bet on him. And they would always make it thrilling in the fact that they would be down and then they would just start raining threes and the Martin brothers would get going. He was incredible. He was the best player on the court for long stretches of this game and the series. There was a moment where it was legitimately Caleb Martin versus Derek White, because Derek White was he tried to will the Celtics back into this game. But yeah, the Heat, I just don't. As much as you want to give them, I don't know how to give them the proper credit because at one point they kind of blew this, but to be able to get off the mat in Game 7 and have that kind of performance was incredible. They looked so gassed. Jimmy looked so gassed. So Derek White at the beginning of this series, Jimmy was eating him alive. By Game 6, Derek White was completely shutting him down. You thought there's no way the Heat are going to be able to win this game. And what they showed tonight, Heat culture. It's as thriving could be. There's never been a worse call than when I said Heat culture was dead.
Yeah, very much alive. I just think that the Heat are you can't even you don't need to say undrafted when talking about the Heat anymore. They're just good. They've just got a lot of really good players. They developed the fuck out of them. Somehow they've got a great system in place for that. But they're just good, and they scare me a little bit. As if you're watching the Nuggets and you're rooting for the Nuggets, which I think that we are, with the exception of our darling Jake. The Heat should scare you. It's not about them being a fluke anymore. It's not about anything weird going on. They're not getting lucky breaks here and there, although obviously Tatum's injury on the first play of the game, that was a good break for the Heat. But the Heat are just a fucking good basketball team all around, and they've got guys that step up when their stars aren't playing well. And I'm a little bit afraid of the Heat in the finals. As a longtime 3-year Nuggets fan, they scare me just because they got some bullshit going on.
And they what was the stat? We had it a while ago where they the amount of games that they've won being down 10 in these playoffs alone, I think 8 or 9 of them. Duncan Robinson, that Game 6, he misses 2 wide open threes that could have put the Heat in the NBA Finals, and then he comes back tonight and hits some big shots. The entire team is just completely unflappable, and there's nothing that can bother them. And I do think it starts with Spo and Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy Butler did show up tonight where it looked like he had ran out of gas, and he had one last push. And, Jake, what did we miss? The Heat are fucking good.
It's true culture winning this game because
Hank is disgusted by this.
pretty much any other team, like you said, Big Cat, I don't know how you physically bounce back from as devastating as a loss as you experienced in Game 6. Look at when the Ray Allen shot. The next game, the Spurs fought, but we knew the Heat were winning that game. I really thought the Celtics were going to win this game just based off momentum, but that's culture. Spo, he right after they lost Game 6, he's like, we want to tip this thing off right now.
Right.
They were not backing down. I knew they wouldn't lay an egg, but I didn't expect this.
Yeah. Hank?
Me neither.
Culture.
And Tatum got hurt.
So did Jimmy.
Why did the Celtics not have Kevin Millar, Bill Miller, Euclid, David Ortiz, Tim Wakefield, Johnny Damon? Why weren't all those guys sitting courtside for this
Johnny
game?
Damon was at a game or two ago.
Yeah, that was a miss. I thought they were gonna roll him out too. I don't know if they weren't around or they couldn't make the trip, but
Do you think the game goes different if you and Dave are sitting on the wood? Because
I
Dave
mean-
had 104 fever, so he couldn't make it to the game. You got to think that things go a little different.
Yeah,
Mark
you never know.
Wahlberg
You
style.
never know what you can do. Yeah, I'm on that floor.
What was the text you sent to try to get on the wood?
I didn't send a text to try and get on the wood.
What was the text you sent to get on the wood? Was it a haha?
No, I mean, me and Dave text after games. We just
You-
texted after the game.
And what
and
did
then,
you say? Were you like, wouldn't it be crazy if we went to game
No,
7
no,
together?
no. We only texted after the game. It was like, that was crazy, unreal win, back and forth, normal stuff. And then I was just, hoping. You never know. Obviously, I'm very grateful to ever have gone once. I don't care if I never go again. But I was like, if he goes, he's gonna take someone. Maybe text me. So I was just kind of like,
You're like, hey,
you know,
did you see Max and his
get-
boy? That could be us
getting
on the wood.
getting the phantom vibrates in my phone, be like, did he text me? And it never
Oh,
came.
no.
At least he was, he was sick. But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
That sucks.
What if we kissed in the garden?
Yeah. This could be us. He sent him a meme of Max and his
Mm-hmm.
boy.
No, I hope Dave feels better. That does hurt.
Yeah.
We should actually bring that guy on for any like heartbreaking loss. That guy should have to come on the show and give the kiss of death to one of us.
Yes. What, Max?
Technically, the Celtics have yet to win a game since that kiss has been posted.
That is true. It's
So,
a fair point.
Kiss of death for who? I mean, I guess as a Celtics fan,
You're
it would be the kiss of
you're-
death
you're
for
now
myself.
You're getting confused.
I know,
You're getting
I know.
confused. All right.
This is like when I tried to be a LeBron James stan for like a week, and it just goes against every fiber of your being.
All right. So we do have Nuggets coach Michael Malone coming up. We're going to talk a little basketball with him. NBA Finals is set. Heat Nuggets. I'm very excited. I think it's going to be an awesome series. Pumped for this. I know that the ratings police are going to be so mad. They also are going to be mad about the Stanley Cup Final, which we have the Knights, the Vegas Knights going up against the Florida Panthers.
No overlap, by the way, for Heat and Panthers.
What do you mean?
The Stanley Cup and the NBA Finals, not 1 day overlap. So it's
Okay, that was important. I was worried for a second.
well
there.
for South Florida. It's
yeah,
very
yeah, no,
important.
I was
Yeah.
worried. I was worried. Yeah, no, that's a good point.
For Brooks. Brooks
yeah,
is
for
going to be able to go to all the
Exactly.
games.
No
Brooks-
double headers.
Yeah, he's gonna be going nuts. So we did put in the synopsis on Friday. I wrote it at like 1 a.m. and I was like, Stanley Cup Finals set. Heard a lot of people being like, not true. So thank you to the Vegas Knights for showing up tonight and winning 6-0, and it was never a doubt. So we had almost like, it was crazy because if the Stars win tonight, we would have had another 3-0 comeback, game 7. But the Knights were too good, and they said, fuck this. We're done with this shit. Stop fucking around.
Yeah, I mean the Knights are a fun team to root for. I love how much the city of Las Vegas just straight up embraced them right off the bat. They became like an institution in Vegas.
Yeah.
Year one, Mark Davis goes to the games, sits behind the ice, puts on his white suit. He looks fantastic. The two cities with maybe the most cocaine done per capita, Vegas, Miami, playing against each other in the Stanley Cup. Brooks will be on his best behavior. That didn't have anything to do with the previous sentence. Just saying that Brooks will be on his best behavior.
And Alec Martinez, our guy. We become Knights fans for a week, and look at them now. They're in the Stanley Cup Final. Hank, what were you just looking at your phone for?
Just nothing.
What were you just scrolling? What were you doing? Let us know. See something, say something. I saw something. Say something.
I just was on.
I saw something. You say something.
I didn't see anything. I saw a stat
What
that I
was the
said.
stat?
It was the Game 7 stat.
What was it?
Bruins and Celtics post loss Game 7s at home to 8 seed Florida team.
And
Is that
who-
true?
Who roots for them?
Jake.
Marsh? Your daddy?
The Celtics beat the Heat
Oh,
last year in
shut
Game
up.
7.
What are you gonna get Jake for Father's Day?
Nothing.
You should. You should get him something.
I won't.
You should.
He's got to win a fucking championship,
Okay.
or else it means nothing.
Ooh. Okay. Don't be careful with that.
It's true.
Yeah, but
thing
that,
I got
that
two
also goes against the
chances.
Kiss video that
Two
we want
chances
to live forever.
in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So we got to be careful with that talk. Okay?
Okay.
Because Kiss video's got to stay.
I mean, it's staying. It doesn't matter.
We're never forgetting that.
No.
No. It's our 9/11.
That actually it overshadowed the last second shot.
No, yes, my Sunday again, like it doesn't. This really like it hurts because I was really, really looking forward to the Celtics winning and then really, really being able to lay into it. But my Sunday morning, I was like, oh, I'll do some, move some stuff in Saturday, move some stuff in Sunday. I spent all of Sunday morning just switching back and forth between Derek White like all the different angles and all the different heat reactions, and then just Max's video, like for a solid 3 hours.
I was just sending it to random people, like friends and family, just be like, so you got to understand Max, our producer, and I would just send him the video. I don't think it was that funny if you don't know the whole backstory, but I still was like, you got to see this. Watch this.
Yeah, the posting it was really just the posting it. Like you took the video and then posted it.
Yeah, it was
You
the
know what,
rare
though?
video. At 1 a.m, I almost woke up my wife to show her. I didn't, but I was like this close. It was like, you can't believe what Max just did.
You know what though? Max serves a very valuable purpose when he does something like that. I was looking for anybody to be mad at. I was looking for a reason why that last shot went in, because it was just such a ridiculous last play that it leaves everybody in stunned silence watching. But the second that I saw that Max put that video up, I was like, okay, yeah, that's the guy that I'm pissed off at.
That's the bad
You're
guy.
my scapegoat. You were a great scapegoat for that.
Happy to be here.
Who's the bad guy? Okay, let's do Who's Back of the Week, and then we'll get to our great interviews. Again, we're going to do Succession talk at the end of the show. Tuesday and Friday shows this week, so if you want to save one of the interviews for Wednesday, because there won't be a new show on Wednesday, but we'll be back for Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Who's Back of the Week is brought to you by our friends at Coors Light. Sometimes days can get so crazy that you forget to make time for fun. When that happens, you've got to choose to chill. So go ahead, say yes to midweek happy hours and catching the game after work. And while you're at it, enjoy an ice-cold Coors Light, the beer that's made to chill. I could use a Coors Light right now. It's 10,000 degrees in this studio. I wish the train just came, the frost train came through the studio right now. Coors Light is the coldest beer out there. It's literally made to chill. Mountains on the bottles and cans even turn blue when your beer is cold. That way you always know it's time to chill. We've been retweeting the Blue Mountains. Nothing better than a summer weekend. Blue Mountains on deck. So go get the most refreshing, delicious beer. My favorite beer in the entire world, Coors Light. When you choose to chill, pair your plans with an ice-cold Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Drizzly or Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/take. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Drizzly or Instacart by going to barstool.link/PMT Coors Light. Get the Coors Light. It's summer season, baby. It's hot. Coors Light will cool you down. Ice cold Coors Light. Okay, who's back of the week? Hank.
I have a couple. My first one is Cinderella.
Okay.
This is in college baseball. Tulane finished the regular season 15-39, and then they won the AAC conference tournament, and they're going to the tournament. NCAA.
Do you know who loves Tulane?
Don't say it. Too
Grow
soon.
the game.
Yeah.
Too soon.
Okay.
But that's that's you usually hear that in basketball, but it's always
That's
a fun story.
insane.
15-39.
15-39?
Yeah.
Holy fuck! Who'd they beat in the championship?
I don't know, but they're probably gonna play like Rice or something, and
Oh my
maybe
God.
who knows? Maybe shock the world.
That's insane. 15-39 is pretty fucking crazy. That's
Yeah.
a bad team.
Yeah.
That's a really bad team.
Then my other who's back of the week, shots. This is a little PSA or like something I feel like we've talked about before, but with the move to Chicago, me and PFT were out, and I do truly, meeting a lot of AWLs. Everyone's saying welcome to Chicago, welcome to Chicago. A lot of people were also, coming over with shots, and I personally am at a point in my life where like I try and just not even drink liquor when I'm out, but I feel bad because people are just, it's a nice gesture and I appreciate the gesture, but I think I'm just going to have to start turning them down. Or if people want to buy a shot, just buy a shot and we'll cheers and you take it. But I feel bad turning them down, but I also just I can't be drinking 10 shots a night.
You just
Yeah.
Go ahead, PFT.
My rule of thumb is no shots. That has started to go sideways since I've been in Chicago because I've been on a little Malort kick for the last couple days, and my rule is I will not be taking shots that other people buy for me of Malort any longer. It's not happening. I can't keep up this pace that I'm on right now. It tastes like the devil's cum. It's awful. It does taste like gasoline. It tastes like if somebody threw up gasoline and then re-drank it. That's what Malort tastes like. I will buy myself some Malort occasionally as a treat, but I have to set a hard and fast rule because it's quickly getting out of hand. I will not be drinking any more shots of Malort that people buy for me. I can't do it. I will be dead within a month.
Yeah, I think I've told this story, but the Cardinals-Steelers Super Bowl, we had one of our friends trying to drink an entire bottle of Malort, and he did before halftime, and then, like, during it might have been like right. It's actually right during like the run back. I missed that run back live because they were like, "Hey, where is he?" And then I found him in my room, and he had just started puking up Malort in my room, and I smelt it for like 6 months. It was the worst thing.
I can still smell it on the roof of my mouth.
Yeah.
It stays with you for so long. It honestly feels like a drink that somebody made up as a joke.
Yeah. Yeah, as a dare. Hank, that's a good rule. I've had a rule for it's been like 8 years now. I'll never take a free shot from anyone because of that. Like it actually was at Declan's for the Oshie game, the USA versus Russia game at fucking 7 a.m. I had to be peeled off of Wells Street because I took so many free shots. So just if you make it a rule, it's no hurt feelings.
Right, that's the thing, and I do appreciate it. It's just awkward when they come over like, here's a shot, and in my head I'm like, I don't really want this, but I also don't, I don't want to seem like an asshole, but that's kind of what I'm getting at.
It's just a hard and fast rule because you can't break it either. Like if someone tries to buy me a shot, say, hey, thank you so much, I appreciate it. I don't take shots.
Yeah, buy a shot for yourself, well, cheers.
Yeah.
Can we add one more rule?
Yeah, buy Billy shots.
Closed bottles and cans only.
What, do you think you're going to get roofied by a
Well, I got
stoolie?
QB sneaked once.
What do you mean?
It's a long time ago, but Coors Lights only.
The worst one I ever got was a shard bomb. You ever guys get shard bombed?
No.
Some dude came up to me. There's a bar called River Shannon in Chicago. I don't know if it's still there. And was like, dude, Big Cat, shard bomb. And he just handed me a glass of Chardonnay, and we had to chug it.
Oh.
And I just went right outside and puked my guts out. So no shard bombs either.
I thought people were just walking up to you and sharding.
Shard bomb. I mean, the problem is you have to do the shard bomb once. Because when someone says, hey, shard bomb, that's a cool name. And you're like, a glass of fucking white wine? Okay. How bad could it be? Really bad.
That's the bachelorette party version of icing your bro.
Yeah, shard bomb. I had to respect the ingenuity of a shard bomb, but never again. Never again.
You just say bomb after anything.
Yeah,
and
right.
then you have to chug it.
Yeah, dude,
You
remember?
just got poutine bombed.
like Vegas bombs at brunch. Where just I don't even know. It was a Red Bull and orange juice and vodka. Just be like, yeah, okay, I'll take a bomb. Sure. All right.
it off.
Good. Who's back? No more shots. PFT.
Great. Who's back, Hank? My who's back of the week is Live Golf.
Ooh.
Because Live Golf is tweaking their rule format that they have. They are now instituting relegation and promotion in Live Golf League.
Hell yes.
Which is great. So what they're doing is they're having players that finish between 25th and 44th. They will be in the open zone, becoming free agents, where they can move between teams or leave Live Golf. If they're essentially Live Golf just invented the PGA Tour, so you're not like guaranteed a spot on Live Golf. Other players can play well and then get moved up into Live. They invented qualification school.
Are we worried about our fourth ace? What's his name again, Hank? Don't, Jake. Don't, Jake.
It's like Pietro or something. Peters.
Uline.
Peter Uline.
Yeah. Are we worried about our fourth ace?
No, he's actually probably top one of the better aces.
Oh, he is. So you take him over what ace would you take him over?
Maybe Pat Perez,
Okay. And
Dustin Johnson, Bubba.
okay. You
Okay,
got it.
so
I think.
power rank your aces.
DJ number 1. He's the GOAT. Great guy.
Would love to have
should
him
get
on
him
the
on part
show.
of my
Yeah.
DJ, Bubba, Uline, Pat Perez, I guess.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. My who's back is DeAndre Hopkins. Free agent DeAndre Hopkins. Got cut. What team is going to take him? That was a nice little NFL is still king when DeAndre Hopkins got cut. I think it was like Friday. What do you think, PFT? Where is he going to go? I mean, Ravens. He was rumored the Patriots were talking to him. Everyone. I hate how it now has become like any really good player gets cut or is like on the block and they're like, Chiefs, he'll take less. And it's probably true.
Yeah, I would love to see him on the Bills, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be sick. I mean, but I'm just happy for Hopkins. Like, this is his Super Bowl. Getting cut from the Cardinals must be awesome if you're a good player and you get to just pick where you want to end up next. Like, he's left two of the most unstable franchises in the past 4 years. Those are 2 great days that he has.
Yeah.
When he finds out that he's leaving the Texans, he's fucking pumped. Then he finds out that he's leaving the Cardinals. He's probably psyched about that too. I'm just happy for him.
Yeah, the Cardinals are going to be bad. like really bad. Because it is one of those you just keep forgetting that Kyler Murray is not going to be starting the year.
You know what this sounds like to me? I bet you the Cowboys are going to make their fans believe that they're in the Hopkins running until like the very last second, and then he's going to sign with the Bills.
Yeah, and it would be funny if he went to the Ravens, although Lamar Jackson, like, is that too much too fast? You know, like you never want to be the guy who's like, I never have help. Then you have so much help, then it's all on you.
Yeah, it's great to have an excuse, and that excuse, he won't have anything left at that point. But Lamar Jackson's already saying things publicly like, I'm going to be passing the ball a lot more than I'm going to be running it. So he's setting himself up to have like everybody look at him and say, well, maybe the problem might have been you at some times here, Lamar. Whereas in the past, he was the most sympathetic guy in the NFL. He wasn't getting a big contract. His mom was working as his agent, and he had absolutely no help at wide receiver, as is tradition for the Ravens. It would be weird to watch a Ravens game and see them have outstanding wide receivers all across the field. It wouldn't feel right.
I also just revealed myself as not having that dog in me because I know that Lamar Jackson and the Ravens probably don't think that way, where I'm like thinking about it. If I were Lamar Jackson, like, whoa, let's not get so much help that then I can be blamed. You never want to be in that spot where you can't make at least one excuse. That would suck. You got to at least leave yourself an excuse in life for something going wrong.
Absolutely. And they would have none. I would love to see him on the Bills. I think Bills Super Bowl if they get DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah. All right, Billy. Billy's wearing sunglasses for some reason.
They're USA sunglasses. It's Memorial
Indoors?
Day still.
It's actually not Memorial. Two more minutes. You got it.
Yep. I'll wear
Billy
them
just
2
got
more
real
minutes.
banged up
Thank
this
you for
weekend.
your service.
Yeah. There was a moment where we were having a healthy debate in the kitchen, and I felt like I was just arguing with the South Park character because Billy was getting aggro with his sunglasses on. He's like, it's fucking Memorial Day, bro.
Art imitates life. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's back. If you remember Derek.
Yeah, it's the other way around.
Just let him go. He's cooking. Hold up. Let Billy cook.
Wait, what I say?
Life imitates art.
No, art imitates life. Anyway.
Oh, I guess because you are imitating art.
Yeah, I did that on purpose.
Billy's a work of art.
Yeah.
Got it.
So Derek from More Plates, More Dates, who was the one that exposed Liver King for being on steroids. Actually, he should come on the show. You'd be a guest. Ask him about Ozempic.
I will.
And then, so he basically...
I know his co-host. Great dude. Coach Zach. Yeah.
Basically, Arnold started talking about his steroid use for the first time and talked about his cycle. And basically, he wasn't on that much steroids compared to a lot of guys today in bodybuilding, which just goes to show that he is the GOAT.
Okay. So not as much steroids.
Yeah. Which just shows that...
According to him.
Yeah, but he had Derek confirmed that this makes sense according to like what it was rumored to, but everyone thought that it was impossible that he could have done it like that.
Got it.
So he's still the GOAT.
Okay.
And the Taliban.
Wait,
is back.
Taliban's back? Why?
They literally invaded Iran.
By the way, it's midnight, so take the glasses off.
Nope.
Why?
Because it's fucking America.
Okay, but it's not Memorial Day.
Yeah,
anymore.
but I'm still going to wear my American flag.
Now it's stolen valor.
No, I can wear American flag sunglasses. This is America.
Wait, what did the Taliban do?
They're just acting up.
Shit. They just get.
They invaded Iran?
Kind of.
Taliban, they do get a little wild sometimes. They just kind of they get a little bored and then they get fucking wild.
Yeah, they go away. They pop up. They're like herpes.
Yeah. I think it's just
like 5 years, a little flare up.
I think it's just like the nature. It's kind of like the Taliban's kind of like being on a bachelor party at all times. Where like, if you're on a bachelor party for long enough, you get bad ideas. Like, hey, let's go do this.
I mean,
There's
we
just
think
a bunch
about
of
it.
dudes hanging out all day doing
It's
muscle ups.
The ultimate bro trip. Yeah. Don't think about bringing your chick.
Yeah, and then eventually you can only watch your guys like do a bunch of pull-ups in the desert. You got to eventually go do something about it.
Yeah, they hang out, they bro out together, probably play a lot of cards, shoot guns. Mm-hmm. Just guys being dudes.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, why don't we just go invade Iran? Was it Iran?
Yeah, but the worst part is they now just got like a bunch of stuff around them. Like, when your buddies just start using excavators and like going to construction sites when they're just bored and like they start trying to use heavy equipment and heavy machinery. Well, imagine that with like U.S. military equipment that just left there.
And now, wait, how often does that happen? The first part of that?
You know when your buddies get drunk and it's like a college campus, and then there's like excavators.
Actually, I
out
do.
and-
I
yeah,
actually
yeah.
do. I
So
actually do.
imagine
I
that's-
actually know exactly what you're talking about.
Imagine
Yes,
that with
did
like
happen.
Humvees,
Yeah. Okay.
tanks.
No, it. We all were in college at one point, and if there was a fucking huge backhoe sitting in the middle of the street at 2 a.m,
Yeah,
you tried to
when
climb
you think
it.
about like a drunk 19-year-old is really no different than a 3-year-old going down the street and seeing an awesome backhoe and just
Yeah.
stopping and staring at it and be like, that kicks ass.
Yeah, let me get on that thing. All right, Jake, you're who's back, and then we're gonna get to Michael Malone and Big J.
My who's back is lacrosse. Big weekend of lacrosse. Notre Dame men, Northwestern women national champions, and the PLL season is here.
Oh hell yes.
Billy and I will be heading to training camp in Albany later this week. Opening weekend for the PLL, and a huge announcement last week. The league is shifting to home cities next year.
Yes.
In 2024. So the Water Dogs need a permanent home.
Yeah, if Paul Rabel's going to come on the show in the next week or so, if he doesn't give the Water Dogs Chicago, we riot. I think we just I think we just kidnap him and keep him in this hot fucking studio and just like beat him up.
Are you guys gonna
Yeah,
stop
we
for
could do
food,
that.
Billy?
Yeah.
I mean, Jake.
Right. Yes, this is a throwback to last year when Billy picked TGI Fridays over like a staple deli.
Because of a booth.
People were forgetting.
He just wanted to sit in the
People
booth.
forgetting it was also Friday.
Oh,
Yeah. So
that is
That.
true.
that I mean,
You forgot that part.
I was
Hank.
like, it is Friday, Jake. Let's go to TGI Fridays.
yeah,
Also,
it's in the
sign.
name.
we just been playing lacrosse all day, and I really just wanted someone to just come up to me with a big cup of ice water and just keep
Yeah,
refilling it.
We did this.
Yeah. And you wanted the booth.
Yeah.
Yeah, so stay tuned for some content in Albany. Our friend Dukes will be joining us. We'll be there Thursday, Friday.
Is he in a wheelchair?
He might be.
He's on crutches.
Okay. Yeah,
It's
Dukes.
gonna be electric.
Duke's a great case for never doing anything athletic past the age of like 23.
Cripple Dukes.
Yeah,
It's
he
gonna be
broke his
crazy.
ankle at an alumni lacrosse game. That's like you're just there's no glory in it. You're just only going out to just break you basically, I mean, PFD, when you play in your rugby game, like you're essentially just playing hoping you don't get injured. That's the only win.
No,
Right?
it's to me, the feeling of playing an alumni rugby game when I unretire every year is the exact same feeling that I get when I make a $10,000 bet that ends up winning $1,000. So like at the end of the game, if I walk off the field under my own power, not in an ambulance, I'm like, okay, that was an awesome game. I'm so happy to do that. But yeah, you should not. It's really the dumbest thing ever because somebody in those games, whether it's lacrosse, rugby, any sort of like high contact sport, some old guy always gets like devastatingly injured in that, and then they
Yes.
have to go back to their real job. And there's nothing worse. I mean, at Barstool you can get away with a lot, and it's not the exact same. But if you go back into a real office job and you're in like a sling with black eyes and a broken nose, then people are like, "What is this person? They're not. This is not a serious individual."
Wait, Billy, do you have a black eye?
Right now? No.
Okay, no, he doesn't. I thought for a second maybe that was why he's wearing the glasses.
I'm actually ashamed I don't, and that's why I'm wearing the glasses.
Who the fuck comes back from Memorial Day weekend without a black eye? Pussies, that's who.
Also, shout out Notre Dame. They won the National Lacrosse Championship, D1. They beat Duke 13-8.
Yeah, who won the women's?
There's no way to know.
There's no way to know.
Wait, 1 second.
Well, no, Jake said shout out Notre Dame and Northwestern.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's get to our interviews. We have Coach Mike Malone and then Big Jay Oakerson. First, quick ad. Summer is here, and with that warm weather, it's time you deserve to look and feel your best all the time. Thanks to our friends at Hims, men now have simpler, more affordable access to the prescriptions, products, and medical advice they need. With Hims, you can access personalized treatments that suit your needs with a process that is 100% online with no copay, no insurance required. Say goodbye to awkward in-person appointments and video visits. Struggling with ED? Know that you're not alone. Hims' new hard mints are minty chewables customized to fit your unique needs. The mints can be compounded with the same active ingredients found in Viagra and Cialis at different dosages, and they're only available through Hims. At 4hims.com/PMT, you can access licensed medical providers and trusted treatments for ED 100% online. If prescribed, Hims will ship to you for free in discreet packaging. It's that simple. Look, we're your source for sports and news and entertainment, right? Well, Hims is the place to access personalized treatment options like hard mints. So freshen up your ED medication. Go to 4hims.com/PMT to get started today. That's 4hims.com/PMT to get started today. Only available if prescribed, subscription required. See website for full details and important safety information. Restrictions apply. Hard mints is a chewable compounded drug. The FDA does not approve compounded drugs, nor does it verify their safety or effectiveness. Go right now to 4hims.com/PMT to get started today. Okay, here he is, head coach of the Denver Nuggets, Michael Malone. Okay, we now welcome on a very special guest. It is head coach of the Western Conference champion, Denver Nuggets, Michael Malone. Thank you so much for joining us, Coach. We wanted to give the Nuggets their shine because there's been a lot of talk about the media not giving the Nuggets their shine, so we thought having you on would be great. So, first of all, congrats on the sweep. And my first question is, what do you think about LeBron potentially retiring?
First off, it's great to be on with you guys. I have a tremendous coaching staff who are all big fans of your show, your podcast. And when they heard I had a chance to go on, they said, Coach, you got to do it. Big Cat, PFT are great guys. You're going to have a fun time. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
As far as the Lakers sweep, I really can't comment on your first question.
So, all right. So my real first question, because that was not the real first question, is way more important. You have 9 days rest now. Is this going to be the best your voice ever has sounded before game one? And how quickly are you going to lose your voice when you get into the NBA Finals in game one?
Yeah, there's no doubt my voice is going to have plenty of time to get some rest. And come game one, hopefully in Denver next Thursday, it'll be ready to go. And probably by halftime, it'll be a little bit hoarse, but our guys are used to it. It's crazy. Been here for 8 years now. And to be a part of a team and a franchise that's gotten better and better and better, gotten healthier, allowed us to get to this point. It's been a real fun ride to this point, but we're not satisfied.
Yeah, it really has been awesome watching your team for especially the last 3 years or so. I saw it was about 3 years ago. I remember I was watching you guys play, and I was like, if they can get all healthy at the same time, this is a team that can win an NBA championship. They've got the talent on the team. It's about lining up the health of Murray and Porter and getting some nice pieces around because they've got a stud in Jokic. And they're primed. They play a fun, entertaining style of basketball. If people are – I know there's a lot of ratings talk already out there. If you like watching fun basketball, you should love watching this Nuggets team play because they're very entertaining. Was there a time, though, over the last few years where you just weren't sure that the health of all your guys was going to line up to a point where it was going to turn you guys into a contender?
Well, I go back to right after we traded for Aaron Gordon about 3 years ago, whenever it was. And shortly after that trade deadline, we played the Clippers in LA, and we were fully healthy at that point. They were fully healthy, and we went in there and won that game. And Aaron Gordon's impact, the defense on Kawhi. And after that game, I know for me, I said, if we can stay healthy, we got a chance to win it this year. Unfortunately, as we all know, shortly thereafter, Jamal suffered his ACL injury. And then the following year, Michael Porter missed 73 games. But the last time our core was fully healthy was the bubble, and we made it to the Western Conference Finals, and we lost to the Lakers. And so, if you want to achieve something great, you have to go through failure. And I think our guys, like every other great team and player in the past, we've gone through adversity. And I think being healthy, staying together, having tremendous ownership in front office that have remained patient have allowed us to be in this position. But I knew once we got back being healthy, adding a few pieces like KCP, like Bruce Brown, drafting well, we'd be back in the Western Conference Finals, fighting for our first appearance in the NBA Finals. And that's what we've been able to do to this point.
Yeah, it was a great moment watching after the sweep was concluded and you're walking off the court and the Jokic brothers come up to you and they start tossing you around like a bag of potato chips. Is that something where they approached you and you're like, I have to let them do whatever they want because they're intimidating me right now and they're the Jokic's and they get full reign?
No, you know what? It was really more about like love. And like I've gone over to Serbia so many times and I spent so much time in the off season, not just with Nikola, but with Nemanja and Strahina and their parents. And so we've created a very close bond. And so when I went off the court to find them, to hug them, they came running down. I said, uh-oh, what's about to happen? And then, as you mentioned, next thing you know, I was being thrown in the air. And I can honestly say that's the first time it's ever happened. But really cool moment. I've had so many people send me that video, but I think it just speaks to the bond that I have with the entire Jokic family. Had a big hug with Jamal Murray's father, Roger. We've been with these guys so much, and we spend so much time with them, not just on the court, but off the court. I remember one year I flew to Toronto to go with Jamal Murray to a Cleveland Cavalier Toronto Raptor playoff game, just so he could feel what it was like. And now all these years later, Jamal Murray averages 32 points a game in the Western Conference Finals and is a huge part of us getting to our first NBA Finals.
It must also be nice having the Jokic brothers just, relatively courtside at a lot of games, so you don't have to have an enforcer on the court all the time. You just got the big Serbian boys standing up, just staring daggers at the other team and at the refs, and you just point at them. They're like, yeah, listen to these guys, please.
Well, it's great to know I got two security guards that got my back at all times. And I can remember Nikola's rookie season. I think we were playing Phoenix, and Tyson Chandler and Nikola got into it. And out of the corner of my eye, I see this very large object moving at a high rate of speed down towards the court. And one of his brothers was about to run onto the court and handle the business with Tyson Chandler. Thankfully, security got to him before that happened. But they are passionate. They love their brother. They love the Nuggets. And thankfully, I'm on their good side. Yeah. So I know they're in my corner, which is great to know.
It's an incredible story, Jokic specifically. He is the best basketball player in the world. I'm confident in saying that. You've been with him pretty much from the beginning here. Was there a point where you saw it? Because you can't, people were like, oh, we knew he was going to be this guy. They're lying. He was a second-round draft pick. He had to get in better shape and learn the game a little bit more. But what was the point where you're like, okay, this guy, his ceiling is best basketball player in the world?
Well, I agree. I think he is the best basketball player, and I think he's proving it every single night. And, I go back, my first summer in Denver was also Nikola's first summer. And we went to Las Vegas for Summer League, and not one point in time in Vegas did I say, hey, we have a franchise player. It was just no one saw that, to your point. But as we got into his rookie season and he lost some weight, got in shape, we had some injuries. We played a game in San Antonio with Tim Duncan still playing, and Nikola went out there and put up like 25 points, 13 rebounds, 7 or 8 assists. And that's when, for me, like the light bulb kind of went, wait a minute. He just did this against one of the greatest players of all time, one of the most well-coached teams and best coaches in NBA history, in Greg Popovich. We may have something special here. And it really kind of, I think, a defining moment for our franchise was year 2 and reinserting him back into the starting lineup as our starting center. And our trajectory from that point in time just took off. Our offense took off. He became the focal point of everything that we did because his innate ability to make everyone around him better. Yeah. And the fact that he takes the most joy in making plays for others. We identified that, and the rest has been history to this point.
It really is like so much fun watching him play because of what you just said, where even if he's not scoring, you can see the impact he has on the other defense where everyone's collapsing and he's getting guys open and has his fingerprints over every possession, whether he's scoring or not. Are there times, like I would imagine as a coach, are there times where you're just like, hey, just go figure something out. Like, you're the best player in the world. Like, don't even drop a play. Like, I know you got this. Like, you're going to get it. You get the ball, bring up the ball. Everyone's going to collapse. You find someone or you score. Like, you can do everything. Do you ever say, like, no play, just go do it?
Well, yeah. I mean, sometimes the best play is just get the ball to Nikola.
Yeah.
And then to your point, through his IQ, and unselfishness, he's going to make the right play. Whether or not we make the shot, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, you're going to get the right look. And I think a great example of that was in game 3 against the Lakers, fourth quarter. And he grabs the clipboard before I get in there, and he says, listen, me and Jamal are going to play this 2-man game. You other 3 guys just get out of the way, be ready, and let us play our game. And we did it for like 5 or 6 straight possessions and pulled away from the Lakers. So, and that's one thing I have to say about Nikola, that in the 8 years that he continues to get more comfortable with is being more vocal, being a leader, using his voice to, in those moments, not keep it within, but what do you have to say? Because you're out there and we all trust you. And so that's just one of many examples where, hey, man, I know in this situation, we're going to get the ball to Nikola in the low post, in the high post, on the elbow, on the wing, and let him make a play like he's done time and time again.
Yeah. There's some haters out there. A good friend of our show, Kirk Goldsberry, he wrote a scathing article. I didn't read the entire thing. I read like the first paragraph, and then I clicked it because I knew it was fake news, about his defense and about how he gives up a lot of easy layups. We told him to his face he was wrong. He's a numbers guy. We're eyeball guys. We know ball. We knew that those plays, that highlight reel wasn't telling the full story. Do you read any of the naysayers out there about him? Does he read the naysayers? And if so, do you guys use that as motivation, or are you guys just completely locked in on what you're doing?
So, I learned, I'm the son of a coach. My father's in the NBA for many years, and he was in Detroit with Chuck Daly and the Bad Boys. And one thing he learned from Chuck Daly was don't listen to the radio, don't watch TV, and don't read the newspaper. And now in today's NBA and just social media world, it's don't look at anything, because something negative is being said about you at all times. No matter what you're doing, what level you're playing at, or you're winning at a high level, people are going to find something to attack. And I did see that article because one of the coaches showed it to me because they were so upset. And the whole premise of the article was one game against San Antonio and Jakob Poeltl, and how Nikola is not a good defender, and we have no chance of winning at a high level because of that.
Yeah.
Well, we're starting the finals on Thursday, so I think that we've shown, and Nikola has shown, that he can be a good enough defender, and we as a team can be a good enough defender. And in 8 years, I think we've taken some of that perceived disrespect, if you will, and used it as motivation. I think this year, for the first time that I've ever been with Nikola, I do think the negativity around the MVP narrative became somewhat of a distraction and was very negative. And I think it really turned him off and a lot of other people off for it. I can't speak for you guys in that matter. But so I think there are times that we use it as motivation, but at the same time, we have to spend as much energy as possible in trying to win the NBA Finals now, try to win a championship. And if we're worried about all the other things, that's going to distract us from concentrating on the task at hand, which is trying to win a series.
I like that. We're in the finals. Take that for data.
Yeah, and I did take away Embiid's MVP this year. So personally, as a show, Jokic are now our MVP.
He is.
We vote on the MVP after the playoffs start. That's just how the show always works. So.
Yeah, that way we can never be wrong about our MVP,
Right.
and people can never rub that in our face and be like, well, what they do in the playoffs? Well,
Right.
we wait till after the playoffs are over. Whoever wins the championship, we give a team MVP.
Yeah,
and right now
right.
it's the Nuggets.
Yeah.
I had one more question about Jokic, specifically about in-game management for him. He tends to get his arms cut more easily than any player in maybe NBA history. It always looks like after the first quarter he's been handling feral cats and just gotten scratched up with blood everywhere. Do you have a cut guy that's on retainer that just is assigned to Nikola's arms?
No, that's a good idea, though. We might have to hire somebody because whether it's Boston or Miami, we know those cuts are going to be even that much worse. But no, it kind of reminds me of the scene in Rocky. Like, cut me, Mick. You need somebody to help him out. So Nikola's a warrior, man. The guy, and people always talk about his lack of athleticism. But what they don't remember is, okay, game 4 against the Lakers, he played 45 and a half minutes. There's a game against Portland, a 4 overtime game a few years ago, where I played him 63 minutes. And he's able to, like, he's got, maybe he's like Secretariat. He's big into horses. He can run for days. He may not jump over people, but his conditioning is at an elite level. And you're right. He looks like he's been through a war every time he comes into the locker room after a game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of horses, has he gotten you on a horse when you gone to Serbia?
Yeah, I was. Well, first off, his brothers were pissed off because they never get the he's never given his brothers the opportunity to go on the horse. And so they were really like insulted that he allowed me to go and not them. But it was like a practice day for the horse. And so we went to the track. It was me, Nicole, the horse, and their trainer. And obviously I'm sitting in, I don't know what you call it, the buggy, the thing behind it. There's that kind of a horse. You don't sit on the horse. And he goes, all right, coach, just take it nice and easy. This is like a warm-up. I'm like, okay. And I get on the horse, and all of a sudden I think I'm like Ben-Hur. I'm like whipping the reins. Let's go. So we come around the first time. He's yelling at me, coach, slow down. You're going too fast. And then I went one more lap even faster, and he was really mad. He goes, coach, you're never riding my horse again. So I did it one time.
You got it.
He can't take it away from me.
Yeah, you got it that one time. So the other, your team has been playing so well as a team, but Jamal Murray specifically has been out of this world good. There was a story that came out recently that when he tore his ACL, he actually asked you, like, "Does this mean I'm like done with the Nuggets?" And you walk me through your watching him tear his ACL and having to deal with like, all right, we're missing this guy. He hasn't been able to reach his full potential, and how you mentally were able to get him, build him back up to a point where he could have easily won the MVP of the Western Conference Finals. He's been that electric, and he also is now getting like the superstar playoff kind of treatment where we saw him in the bubble. We see him this year. Like, he shows up for these big moments.
He does. He lives for those moments. And, you referenced that the night that game happened was against Golden State in San Francisco. He tears his ACL. We stayed over that night. And that next morning, we're on the bus going to the airport, and I'm sitting next to him, and we're having a conversation. And you could just see the fear, the dejection, and like, what just happened, and more importantly, what's about to happen. And, when he said to me, coach, like, are you guys going to trade me? That really hit me. And it was an emotional conversation because of, everything we have gone through together and where we were at. And I just tried to reassure him in that moment and every day after that, no, like we're not thinking of you as damaged goods. You're our guy. And not only are you going to come back from this injury, Jamal, you're going to come back a better player. You're going to attack your rehab. You're going to come back stronger, better. And I think he's proven that. And I think this year, the biggest game of the season for me, and Jamal's confidence in getting back to that level was we played, I think, Portland on December 8th, and Jamal hits a game winner over Jeremy Grant. And you could see almost like him take a deep breath and remind himself, hey, I'm a really good basketball player. I went through a really long journey getting back to this point, and there were some dark days in that journey and coming back from the ACL injury, but he attacked it. And all we tried to do as an organization, all I tried to do as a head coach was support him and show him how much we loved him, not rush him back. A lot of people wanted him to come back last year in the playoffs. Is he ready? Is he not? And I wasn't going to push him. I wanted him to feel really comfortable about stepping back on that court. And that happened this year. And to your point, Nikola was amazing in the Western Conference Finals. He won MVP, but you can make a great case as well for Jamal. 32 points a game in a 4-game sweep. And he has 30 points in the first half of game 3. And in game 2, he had 23 points in the fourth quarter alone to allow us to win that game. So just thankful that he's back healthy in a really good place mentally.
And that's a great story because I think when it comes to the building of these teams and injuries and everything that goes into it, as fans, we sit there and we're like, well, what the heck? Like, it's actually, we have a joke here. Adrian Peterson ruined ACL injuries for everyone because the running back, he came back in like 8 months. And so now anyone gets injured and we're like, what the hell? Why aren't they back? But the mental side of sports and being able to keep your guys mentally in it when they're not maybe participating on the court, that's got to be a tough part of the coaching job that people don't really see.
Well, it is. And I'm glad you brought that up because one thing we did last year for Jamal to, because it was really hard for him to be at practice and have to sit there and watch everybody else playing the game he loves. That's like torture. Hey, man, come watch us practice. You can't touch a ball or do anything, but like be there and be a good teammate. Mm-hmm. Man, that sucks.
Yeah.
But so what we try to get him involved in the process. And so every game we play in the regular season, we do the same thing in the playoffs. We watch a personnel edit. So we're getting ready to play Miami. So one of our coaches will take our team through a personnel edit, talking about each of their players, their tendencies, what their strengths are. So we started having Jamal do that last season. Jamal, you present to our team. And it was just a way to keep him involved where, okay, I can't play the game, but I can still try to help my guys out. I can, come in and sit in on a coach's meeting. And so trying to do things like that just to keep a young man who's going through a really tough time, just keeping him mentally engaged and letting him know you're not playing right now, but you're still a part of this. Like, you're still going to be a part of this moving forward. And I do think that helped him kind of getting through that really tough year all of last season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's fantastic.
It must be tough for a guy that's that much of a competitor to have to sit back and watch everything. And now you're talking about like strategies, keeping your team together, keeping players focused when they're not playing. You have a pretty significant layoff. We don't know who you're going to be playing in the finals. We don't know how long the Heat Celtics series is going to go. What's your strategy right now in terms of rest versus rust? Do you have guys competing in practice? Do you have simulated scrimmages? Are you giving the guys time off just to recuperate? How are you handling the layoff between now and the finals?
Yeah, I mean, we met for a while as a staff yesterday. So the first day back was a complete blackout day. We got really back late from LA. Yesterday was a player development, treatments, lift kind of a day. We're going to get on the floor here in a little bit. And we don't know who we're playing yet. So the next 3 or 4 days are going to be just about the Denver Nuggets, kind of cleaning up all the things for the first. We're 12-3 so far. So after 15 games, what are the things that we have to clean up offensively, defensively, special situations, whatever it may be? And then at whatever point in time we finally know who our opponent is, we know we'll have 3 or 4 days to get ready for game one, to prepare for their personnel and their plays and the walkthrough and what our game plan is going to be. We're meeting as a staff every day, talking about both Miami and Boston, just to get ready for each team and what they present. But it's a challenge because we played every other day. Our guys are in peak conditioning and in a rhythm right now. And then all of a sudden you take that away, and that's our biggest challenge. How do we maintain our conditioning? How do we maintain our rhythm while not playing games? And it's hard to do. When I was an assistant in Cleveland, we had the same situation. We swept the round, first round, we swept the second round, and our next opponent had both gone to 7 games. So we had like an 8-9 day layoff for both of those, and I think it affected us kind of getting into the Eastern Conference Finals. But our guys will be ready. I have no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you talked about Cleveland. You've had an incredible career in basketball. You've been around some great players. You also were with the Warriors before they became the championship Warriors. Is there any like parallels in watching Steph Curry when he was at the beginning of his career, being like he was kind of similar to Jokic, where he was obviously great in college basketball, made a tournament run with Davidson, but no one thought he was going to be what he is. Did you see it, when you're watching him in practice and being like, yeah, this guy is special. He's going to be one of the best players in basketball?
Well, yeah, because with Steph, you getting to know him, you realize, okay, this guy, the character, I mean, just a tremendously high character young man, tremendous work ethic. The guy every day had a routine discipline, worked on his game before and after every practice. And you knew he had a skill. I mean, his ability to shoot the ball was just, as U.B. Brown said many years ago, shooting makes up for a multitude of sins. And one thing Steph Curry can do is shoot and score the basketball, as we've all come to see in the years since they won all those championships. And then you draft a guy like Klay Thompson, and then we drafted a guy like Draymond Green and Harrison Barnes, and you can see the makings of something special. I wound up leaving there to go to Sacramento to be the head coach, but when I left to go there, my second year in Golden State, we upset Denver in the first round, and we gave San Antonio a hell of a series in the second round. So you saw all the makings of a team that had championship DNA. And obviously, as they continue to add to that, those 3 or 4 core guys, the rest has been history. Obviously, they've been almost like a dynasty these last 10 years.
Yeah, mm-hmm. So I made the comparison I think it was a week ago or so, that Steph and Jokic, even though they don't obviously play the same position, they're very different in how they play. They are similar in the fact that a defense, the like orbit of the defense, the gravity of the defense always collapses on them and opens up everything else. Do you see the same thing where it's like these guys, even if they're not making shots, it's everything that comes around it that the defense has to prepare for that makes them so special?
Yeah, I think the truly defining characteristic of a great player is the one that makes his teammates better. And obviously, Steph, to your point, he's going to attract the crowd every night. 2, sometimes 3 defenders. And I think his playmaking and unselfishness is somewhat underrated. We all talk about Steph Curry as a shooter and a scorer, probably the greatest shooter in NBA history. But he also has the ability to make those around him better. I've often used the analogy, and I'd be curious to see if you guys find this funny or you see it. I think LeBron James and Nikola Jokic are very, very similar. And the eye test, you say, hell no. Like, one's a great athlete, freakish, and the other guy can't jump over the Sunday newspaper. But if you get away from that, both those guys, their IQ, their unselfishness, their ability to make everyone better and impact the game, rebounding, scoring, playmaking, and just making timely plays and seeing things before everybody else sees them. And having coached LeBron for 5 years and now Nikola for 8, those two guys, I think, are incredibly similar once you get past the obvious athleticism.
That's really interesting. The one thing that I would agree with on that, they both will make passes, and you see it in football sometimes. A quarterback throws a pass before the receiver's open. Jokic and LeBron both make the pass. They start passing the ball before their guy is even open to receive the pass. They truly do see that before it ever happens.
Yeah.
No, they do. I mean, that's a great thing about, like, some guys are playing checkers out there, and then you have a few guys that play chess and see things developing. And guys understand pretty quickly when they first come to our team, first time playing with Nikola, hey, you better have your head on a swivel, because if you're open, he's going to find you. And sometimes guys are running through the lane, they get hit in the back of the head, and he yells at them, hey, be ready to catch the ball because I'm going to find you when you're open. So that's the best part about playing with him. The guy is so unselfish. He just wants to win, doesn't care about he's almost embarrassed by the attention at times, and he's just such a selfless superstar, and feel very, very fortunate to have the opportunity to coach a guy who's like that.
I like the analogy too, just because when LeBron and Jokic both get the ball at the top of the key, the defense is already kind of screwed because they can do everything. And it's like there's nothing you can really do to stop whatever their next thing is, because they could go to the hoop, they could hit a fadeaway, they could pass, everyone could collapse on them. That spot already has bent the defense in a place they don't want to be.
Yeah, and for me, like most games, I'll start off the first play of the game. We're going to post up Nikola because I want to see what the other team's game plan is. And everybody's got a choice to make. Are you going to play Nikola straight up, or are you going to double team him? And he, like LeBron, has seen every conceivable defense that you can imagine. And the one thing you love about Nikola, like after, I think it was game 1 against the Lakers, we're up 1-0, and everybody talked about the Lakers. They're in a great place. They're down 1-0, but they had Rui Hachimura guard Nikola, and it went really well.
Yeah.
And we got a kick out of that because, one, we were up 1-0, and no one was talking about that. And Nikola, and Rui Hachimura is a hell of a young player, and he had a tremendous Western Conference Finals, but no one figures out Nikola.
Right.
He's seen everything. He's had the Defensive Player of the Year type players draped all over him, and he's going to find a way to beat you. Mm-hmm. Whether it's scoring or finding the open man for Jamal, for Michael, for KCP, whoever it is to make the shot. So, when Nikola has the ball in that low post, on that elbow, that defense has a decision to make, and Nikola's going to make the right read every time.
Yeah.
There's usually no correct decision. Just hope that he screws it up somehow, which he
and hope somebody misses.
Yeah. Hope they miss a shot. That's the defense that they have to play sometimes. I have 2 questions. Well, it's a 2-part question, but I feel like every championship team has to have an X factor to win. And that might just be a term we make up in the media of an X factor. Which one of these X factors is more important to your team? The altitude, or Rocky the mascot being able to drain half-court shots on top of a 50-foot ladder throwing the ball over his head?
No doubt, Rocky. I mean, it's funny. Before I got here, they told me a story. It was like maybe the season opener. Rocky was being he was rappelling down to the floor.
Yes,
and they had the spotlight on him.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, here comes the world's most famous mascot. And then something happened where as he's coming down, Rocky passes out.
Yeah.
His body is limp coming down. So Rocky is definitely important, but I think you can see it on the other team's face. When they come to Denver and they play in this altitude, that first quarter, you can see guys huffing and puffing. And it's something from Doug Moe, the greatest coach in Nuggets history. His teams back in the day trying to outscore you, getting up and down. I got a great message from Dan Issel the other day, one of the all-time greats in Denver Nugget history, saying, hey, just run the Lakers off the floor. Keep running, because we do have an advantage built into our city. But I can never discount the importance of Rocky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Smart.
Before a game, so before game one, do you get nervous? We've had Danny Hurley on a bunch, and he, during UConn's run, we were talking to him. He drinks urine before the game, which intimidates everyone else. But he also said that he has to get in a zen moment where he doesn't want to be so mad about the referees or something before the game that he has to shut off all the lights and give himself a moment. What's your pregame routine? Do you get the butterflies as the game's about to tip off?
Well, first thing, I got a question, and I know Danny and Bobby, and obviously we have a ton of respect for their family. St. Anthony's guys, I'm a Seton Hall prep guy via New York, but whose urine is he drinking? Is it his own or somebody else?
Hopefully his own. Yeah.
Well, it's a mushroom.
We know that.
Yeah, well, it's a mushroom tea that looks like piss, and we told him he should just go with it and be like, "Yeah, I'm drinking piss before the game." Because listen, it's like the old saying, never get in a fight with a guy who's got nothing to lose. If you see the other coach drinking piss before a game, you're in trouble.
You definitely are. So I don't drink piss or anything that looks like
Okay,
great quote.
Noted.
Hey, but it did work for him. He had a hell of a season. So congrats to UConn and Danny Hurley. But no, you know what? Haven't done it for as long as I have been. I don't get. I'm so locked into my pregame routine and getting ready and doing my notes and my ATO plays and preparing that and then as you get ready for the jump ball. I'm sorry. We know we've done our job. We've prepared our guys. We're ready for whatever comes our way. But I can't say I get nervous, where my heart is beating out of my chest. It's, and I don't think the NBA Finals will be any different, but I've never been there as a head coach. I was there as an assistant coach one time. But when you work hard and you're detailed and you're prepared, you kind of let the chips fall where they may after that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Well, I have one last question.
You have
The Roback question. Promo code TAKE for 20% off your first purchase. Roback.com, RHOBACK.com. Hoodies, polos, Q-zips, shorts, joggers, everything. Shorts are back. Roback.com. Use promo code TAKE. So my last question, Coach, and this has been fantastic. We loved having you on. You had a quote. So Jokic has had 8 triple-doubles in these playoffs. He's been out of this world, averaging a triple-double. And you had a quote saying, there's no stat padding there. He's doing it, and it's not something that we're, orchestrating. So walk me through Game 6 of the Suns when you're up 20 with 2-3 minutes left, and Jokic is still on the court because he only has 9 rebounds. Walk me through that decision.
Hey, I said he doesn't stat pad. I stat pad for him.
Okay,
I keep him out there so we can get those marks. It's funny you say that. Somebody asked me a question, and then I was walking out of the press room after that game, and the guy who asked me the question came up to me. He goes, "You know what? I agree. These playoffs, Nicole has been unbelievable." He goes, "But one rebound in the Phoenix Suns series, I have to say he did stat pad."
Yeah, it is great because you're right. He has not stat pad. It's been unbelievable. But there is that one game where you were up 20 and the Suns were dead, and he was still in there with 3 minutes left, and I was like, huh. And then he got his rebound, and he got pulled. I think he got a rebound, another assist, and he got taken out 20 seconds later.
Well, what's funny about it? I get these questions after a big game, and there's always going to be some guy saying to me, "Coach, you're up 25 with 3 minutes to go. You still had your starters in," and that's what they focus on.
Right.
And for me, maybe it's being around the game as long as I have been, and probably to the detriment at times. I always have fear that somebody's going to come back and make a run with the 3-point line. And then I got home yesterday, and I got 2 daughters, a senior who just graduated, she'll be a freshman in college next year, and a sophomore who will be a junior next year. And they came over to me laughing, and there was this meme, and it says, this is Mike Malone when his team is up 30 and somebody doesn't hustle down the court. And it was a guy, a coach throwing a chair across the court. And one of the titles is that bro is always angry. So I'm not always angry. I can smile and have a good time with you guys.
Yeah. No, I listen. We love the Nuggets. We're a very pro Nuggets podcast. We've been rooting for you for a while. I do want to say it was a from a personal standpoint, it was a questionable decision to not play KCP the entire fourth quarter of Game 2. What was going on with that? Some of us were very interested in KCP getting one more anything in the stat column, and you didn't play him the entire fourth quarter, Coach. 0 minutes in the fourth quarter.
Zero. And and the best thing about that is, if you see KCP in the fourth quarter when he's not in, he's the first guy off the bench. He's cheering on Bruce Brown, who played for him in that fourth quarter. And after that game, I think it was the same game where Jeff Green and Bruce played the whole fourth quarter, and KCP and Aaron Gordon did not. And that group that was out there just was playing at such a high level, defending, scoring, and we pulled away. So I'm sorry
you just
if I
gave
let you guys
yeah,
down.
you just gave him a participation trophy on his bet.
Well, no, thank you for your apology. That's all I was looking for. Listen, I'm not making this personal. The apology was well received.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
If high fives counted as points, you would have won that bet.
So PFT, help me out. So PFT stands for
it stands for Pro Football Talk.
Okay.
Or pretty effing thick. Either one.
So when are we going to change it to PBT?
Pro Basketball Talk.
Yeah.
If the Nuggets win, I'll be PBT in the finals.
Yeah.
You heard it here.
There
you
we
heard
go.
it here.
We know
PBT.
ball.
In the finals, I will be PNT commenter.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, the guys told me, "Oh, you're gonna love these guys. They're awesome." Big Cat. I'm like, Andres Galarraga's got a podcast. Now I have a much better awareness of you guys, the podcast, and I will definitely be tuning in.
I actually used to do a hit for the Bears in Chicago on Fox Chicago at like 7 a.m. on Mondays after their games. And there's a Big Cat, James Williams, who used to play for the Bears. And so when I showed up the first time, the people were like, wait, you're not like a 6'7" black guy. What's going on here? So I that happens every now and then. But Andres Galarraga, legend of the game.
Legend, no doubt.
Yeah. Well, Coach, best of luck. We're rooting for you.
Okay.
We appreciate you coming on, and you're now a recurring guest. So anytime we want you on, you have to come on.
I can't wait. I will definitely be on with you guys again. Looking forward to it. Appreciate the time and the opportunity, and appreciate all your support. Love to hear that this is a Pro Nuggets podcast. We appreciate that. There's not many of them out there, so thanks a lot.
Yes, absolutely. All right, see you, Coach.
Michael Malone was brought to you by our great friends at the Barstool Store. Don't overthink your Father's Day gift. Remember, your dad's richer than you. Don't try to buy him something expensive. He either already has it, or you're going to make yourself look financially irresponsible and stupid. Lose-lose. It's Father's Day coming up, so Hank's going to be getting Jake a great present, and he's going to get it at the Barstool Sports Store. Maybe a Hemi Butler t-shirt. That would be a nice present for Jake. The stuff that we have is cost-effective. It's going to make your dad feel like he's still one of the guys and gets it. This is all he really wants, and something that he can't buy on his own. They've got the dad rope hats. They've got polo quarter zips, the best tasting coffee in Stella Blue, and so much more. You can shop now at store.barstoolsports.com. Shop now at store.barstoolsports.com. And now, here's Big Jay Oakerson.
Okay, we now welcome on a very special guest. It is Big Jay Oakerson, very funny comedian. Go check out his new special, Dog Belly. You can watch it on YouTube now. Big Jay, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me. What a cool studio.
It's a dump. You know it's a dump. You can just say it's a dump.
It's lived in.
It's lived in, for sure. No, this definitely, it needs a woman's charm, I guess, but I got to respect the Smith machine, the weightlifting rack.
Yeah, you haven't even noticed the best part about it is you're sitting on a couch that is being held up by paint cans.
Is it really?
Yeah, so be careful with any sudden movements.
Also, this is velour, so I assume any part that's scratchy is semen.
Yes,
Yeah, probably.
yes, exactly. Well, so thank you for coming on, man. You are a very, very accomplished, funny comedian. We thought it'd be great to have you on. You also a sports fan?
Yeah, well, big sports day for Philly.
Yeah.
Doc Rivers, Outsky.
Yeah, so if you look right there to your left, Max, our producer, he's actually getting people are saying he looks like you right now because he's got a soul patch. He had to get the soul patch because the Sixers lost to the Celtics.
Oh, that was the thing.
Yeah.
Are you a Sixers fan or you just thought they were going to win?
No, he's a...
Unfortunately, a Sixers fan.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Do you feel like getting rid of Doc that's gonna cure anything? I think it's good. Like you had to get rid of Doc.
It's the first move, yeah. I don't know at this point. This might just be me talking. angry shit because they lost, but I think maybe Embiid could go too at this point.
Yeah. Doesn't have that dog.
Yeah, I don't think he's he might not be a winner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's awesome. I mean, he's an unbelievable talent.
And that's my favorite. Like, our show is basically built on being, like, you know, the dumbest sports fans. And that, I would imagine, is being called into every Philly radio station right now, being like, he's not a winner. He's a loser. Guy who just won the MVP.
Yeah, he's not. I don't think he's a loser. Is the wrong word. I just don't think he's
he
like
might be.
He doesn't have that fight, like you said. He can't lead that team.
Yeah,
Like, he doesn't make anybody else better.
It's been a while since we had the championship DNA conversation. I don't know if he has championship DNA. He gives off little Carson Wentz vibes.
Yes, but I'm also
That's the meanest thing you could say
Yeah, I
about
know.
someone ever.
I know it is. That was over the line. I'll admit that.
I'm almost thinking for Philly, the personality of Philly sports, I say a straight up for Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
Philly can handle a problematic like Allen Iverson. He's like Allen Iverson in every way to me.
Yeah.
Like the way he plays and his off. If there was social media when Allen Iverson was playing, he'd have flashed a gun.
Oh,
Yes.
for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
He got caught with guns like all the time.
Yeah.
And he would just get in trouble, but there's no video.
Right.
There
Yeah.
wasn't like TikToks of him like singing and waving it around.
It is. We were talking about it the other day, but it's just insane that John Morant, like, the one rule is just don't take your gun out during an Instagram live. It's very easy, actually.
Yeah, you'd have thought he would have like figured it out after the first one. Mm-hmm. But it does now make funny like all of the, you know, when he has to do a sit down wearing like a turtleneck and be like, "That's not me.
I should have done that.
That's not the person I am." And I don't, you know, kids are watching, and I know that. And he was so like, and then what is it? A month later,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was
Season's
it
over.
was a little longer than 2 months. Let's
Yeah.
give him some credit. It's been 3 days now, so we can say today it's been 3 days since John Morant has last showed a firearm on a social media post.
They had to erase that board that says "Days
Yeah.
Without Incident."
Yeah, let's celebrate
shit.
the progress on
Yes.
this one. I was reading a little bit about your history and the way that you came up through the scene. Did you got started doing stand up when you were in college? Is that right?
No, well, yeah, I guess so. I was in college for like a month or two, and then I tried an open mic, and I did good enough that it gave me an excuse to quit college.
Yeah.
I love it.
It wasn't a good excuse. Actually, Bert Kreischer on his podcast, we had one of the funniest moments of like self-realizations. Maybe sometimes I feel like we hang on to something we thought when we were younger and it has never really been challenged. And I used to always tell the story of starting comedy. I told this to Bert on his podcast once. I was like, I started doing comedy. I dropped out of college immediately. It was just a community college anyway. And my parents were all pissed off, and they got furious. And I said that I eventually got my family to get behind me, just in the sense of I had a speech with them, and I was like, I'm a quitter by nature, and if I have like a backup plan, I'll bail on this, but I think I want to try doing this. So, if I can go back to school in a couple years if this isn't working out good. Mm-hmm. But right now I got to put all my eggs into this basket. And Bert just started cackling and goes, "You could have done both." And he's absolutely right.
Yes.
I just didn't care for school.
Yeah.
So any excuse to get out of it would have been fine for me.
But it's a good origin. It's like Bill Gates. Did Bill Gates drop out of college? No.
I think, Kobe.
Yeah.
Kobe.
Yeah,
You're thinking of
Kobe.
Kobe.
Yeah, all these guys didn't go to college.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kyrie.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Wembanyama.
Yeah, all these guys. But yeah, it kind of
Daryl Dawkins.
it makes sense though. It's like burn the boats.
Yeah.
You don't if you don't leave yourself a backup option. Then
Right, but it
you
was
have to
young enough.
focus.
I mean, I was doing comedy. When you first start, if you're getting up once a week, it's fantastic.
Right.
And these things are always at night, and they're not over too late. And these are all things I could have just gone to the 3 classes I was taking.
Right. Do a 10-minute set. Yeah.
Do you remember the first
I was
joke
like,
you told?
I have to put all my eggs in this basket.
Well, that is true. If you want to be a real comedian, you have to like wake up at 3:00 in the afternoon, right?
Yeah.
If you want to live that
going.
life. Yeah.
Just drink a beer to get rid of the shakes.
Yeah.
My first, I don't remember the first joke I ever told, but I know my first like set I ever wrote was all. It's such an interesting thing starting. I started at 19. So when you're that young, you don't realize, I think, until you get older, like you need some life experience to
Right.
talk about. So when I first started, I thought I was being a genius too. I was just like, Jerry Springer show's crazy. What's with Maury Povich? Living with your mom's nuts.
You're just doing the greatest hits of skipping school and staying home.
Yeah.
You guys
What's
see
with
Family
the Price
Feud?
is Right?
Yeah. You guys think you'd rock Plinko? What's going on there?
I remember it was it Eddie Murphy that was talking about kind of that same thing, write what you know, and his first set was just about taking a shit because he was like 14 years old, and that's the entire life experience that he had was just shitting.
Well, it's kind of funny. Eddie Murphy is such a good example because he lives on those two specials, and not to take anything away from them, they were hits and they were both great, and they hit me when I was younger. But as someone who's been doing it so long now, like I see the 19-year-old, because he was 19 and Delirious,
Right.
so like I see that all over it now. Do you know what I mean? At
Yeah.
the time, he was like older than me when I saw it, and I thought he was like a seasoned, and he was, but like the material itself's not really like anything like it doesn't really give you any insight into him. He does a long sit on like, what if this old TV star butt fuck this TV star?
I mean, that plays.
It's
And then like the one long story about the barbecue.
Yeah, the Rocky story. Like, don't mess with a white guy after he just saw Rocky.
And then Raw was in his early 20s. So yeah, it is funny. Like I almost, because he's always threatening to come back and do comedy again, and then it doesn't work out. And then I think the reason always comes out. He's like, well, where could I like possibly work out new jokes when I'm like so famous?
Right.
And you could. I think he's worried. Like he I don't know if his skill level on that particular thing, stand up, is like changed. But he hasn't done it in 30 years.
Yeah,
It'd be pretty rocky.
And from everything we've talked about with comedians, it really is you have to do it every day. Like you.
Yeah. Well, all he could do is disappoint.
Right. Yeah.
That's
You know what I
true.
mean?
That is true.
He can't really do anything that's going to make it go, oh, wow, right where you left off.
Right. Yeah, the bar's already, so he left the bar so high, you can't just show up and be like,
And now
wow.
he's like, guys, I went to go see Creed 3 in the theater the other day. He's got to move up with a Rocky movie.
So you also, you were security for escorts, is that right?
Yeah. I mean,
That's a wild, everyone, you have the look, like anyone who's been on, maybe not escorts, but like a bachelor party and you hire a stripper, you usually walk in the door.
yeah, they were relying on that look and didn't really ask me about any of my defensive skills. Or and the look, I guess usually would work. I try to use my mind in that job more like where, there is somebody in the ladder here has given a credit card number to somebody.
Right.
Because, that's just how it works. So, like, reminding them of that. Driving escorts that were just escorts was actually weirdly seedier because you just drive and, like, you wait outside of some weird house and then a girl goes in and then comes out and then has to have a conversation with you. Like
Right.
she's like, sorry, I was late. I had to queef out some cum. Sorry, were you waiting long?
Yeah.
The other ones were like you'd go, and they were like strippers also. So like you'd go in and they would like dance, and some of them weren't escorts, but some of them like would. It was pretty gross.
Yeah. It is
Overall.
like the look, I think, is 95% of the job because you walk in and it's a bunch of dudes at a bachelor party and they just need to have someone who they're like, oh, he could probably fuck me up.
Yeah, but sometimes it would be like something like to North Philadelphia with like 15 like young black dudes and me. Where they're good. So it's like, you gotta be like, hey guys, rap music, right? Just try to like relate. Hey, look at my FUBU sneakers.
I'm sure
We're
you had some wild. So you were doing that and stand up at the same time.
Yeah, I thought it was a good way to like make money and not have to like put too much work in. Right. Also, fat insecure kid that I definitely thought I was like, oh, and these hot chicks. Like one, I'm gonna get paid to watch these girls get naked, basically.
Yeah.
And then they're probably gonna be all horned up, probably take a shot at me, shot at the title on the way home. No, it was it was mostly depressing, and then the ride home was them, telling me their long-term plan of getting their children back from the government, or finally getting away from this guy that beats them up. And you're like, okay, well, here we are.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah.
Mom.
Time to go get gangbanged by guys in Ocean City.
So
Let's put a pin in this conversation about your child being taken by the government. Let's go do this gangbang in Ocean City, New Jersey.
yeah, did you use your own car for that, or was it a company car?
Own car.
What did it smell like afterwards? Was there, because anyone that's ever had a stripper come to their house, there's a distinct stripper smell.
Yeah, maybe there. I don't really fully remember that. I said I was definitely in the beginning. I didn't do it very, very long. Or I shouldn't say. I did it for several years, but very on and off. So I would do it like 6 weekends in a row or something, and then I'd be like, get away from it, and then like you'd lose sort of that company. But there was a time where you could just go on the yellow pages and anything that was like, you look for it's like Bill's Creepy Entertainment or something. Some name that just made sense that it was going to be strippers.
Yep.
And you can call and be like, hey, I'm a driver. I've done this before. And I mean, with no back check, they'll be like, go pick up these 3 girls. You sound like not a murderer. I did it one time in New York only. And it was, I think sort of like a different system, I think, here than it was in Philadelphia. I told this on Mark Maron's thing years ago, but I picked up it was 3 girls. And the plan in New York, they just have you get girls in the car and then just wait for something to roll in. You wait for a call to come in.
Oh, so yeah, you're like an Uber sitting there.
I mean, no one got a job of these girls. And thank God. That would have been its own problem.
Yeah.
One of them mercifully didn't have a lazy eye. One of the 3. And then just listening to them compare notes over how to get this one old man off that everybody gets called to. And just, it was really like, it was pretty creepy. And then just sitting in a car double parked in Times Square for like 4 hours. And then the guy's like, yep, guess nothing tonight.
No work. Did you get paid?
And then, no, there's no. It's the only night I ever did it in New York. It was just one night.
I would imagine talking about life experience and how you started comedy at 19. That's like the fastest way to get life experience, to do a job like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And also comedy itself, because then you start traveling and opening for people, and you kind of get like experience how it goes. It's interesting, like someone like Pete Davidson, who's like so young, but I mean, he was thrust into life experience. He definitely has things to talk about,
right? Right,
because of all those things. But yeah, at 19, all I knew was like my mom's house, me and my friends going to an Eagles game, playing basketball, and going to the mall.
Yep.
To try to talk to chicks. So it really wasn't anything like I had nothing. It was all TV shows I've seen.
Yeah.
Movies I've watched.
Yeah. It's I was reading your bio. It refers to you as a comics comic. That seems like a good thing to be called. Would you consider yourself a comics comic?
I don't know. I hope so. I mean, the people I always like to watch, I would describe like that, whether it be Patrice or Attell, or people like that. When they went on stage, Geraldo, when they went on stage at the clubs, like the comics all tried to like stop what they were doing and watch them, and the staff. So that's a cool thing. But yeah, it'd also be good to be an audience's comic.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there like a little sneaky diss in there where it's like, yeah, he is the funniest guy. He just hasn't had like the Dane Cook tour yet.
Yeah, I don't know if it's I don't know if it's like backhanded at all, but like it definitely is such a funny anyone they call a comics guy, not that they're not successful people, but anyone they call a comics comic is like they're a comics comic because no one else knows about them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The comics are aware.
Well, it said that you were on Tough Crowd, right?
Yeah, I did it once. Yeah,
that seems like maybe one of the funniest shows that nobody talks about these days. I used to love watching Colin Quinn and the rotating panel that he would have on.
Where are you from? Are you from here?
Ever. I'm from originally Washington, D.C. So
okay.
I remember watching that show almost every night in college.
Yeah, it was the problem. I mean, it's great. It was a hilarious show. I loved it, but like, I'd have to assume like the long term like issue with it was really local New York comedy scene, like heavy. Do you know what I mean? Like you had to know like.
Right.
They would say names like the booker of the Comedy Cellar, like everyone knew who it was.
Yeah.
Right.
And they go, you know how Esty gets when she's in a bad mood booking the show. And
yeah.
I assume people in like Iowa were like, what the fuck are they talking about? It was very local.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, one of the funniest shows ever on TV.
Yeah. But so your new special is Dog Belly. You had a couple specials. Is this the one like I love, by the way, that you did on YouTube? I feel like comedians are starting to do that, and we're friends with Stav, and he has his special out on YouTube. Like, what did you try to sell it? And you're like, no, I want to do it on YouTube because I can make just as much money and more people will see it.
No, I was trying to just have one of the streaming services pay for it outright, just like produce it completely, and then with all the quarantine stuff and like everything changing. I mean, quite frankly, it was like I had a couple, like Netflix and HBO were both supposed to come like watch me like run the hour to see if they were interested in picking it up. And then by the time after like quarantine, Me Too, and then Black Lives Matter happened, and essentially in not so many words, they were like, Yeah, we can't just throw some straight white guy that no one really knows that well into the mix right here. Like, there's nothing to sell it with. So it kind of like, then I got defeated. And then Dave Attell and Ari Shaffir were kind of like the two people who were like, let's do it.
Right.
Just do it yourself.
Yeah.
And then easier said than done also. It's crazy expensive to do.
Yeah.
But, like, I do love the ownership of it and everything, and it is pretty great. But then we were like, we'll make it high quality also so we can, like, try to sell it. And then by the time it came, like, you know, hey, now's the time to, like, shop this around if we're going to see if somebody wants to buy it. I was like, man, it's going to hurt more if I give them a finished product, too. And then they go, this is great, but no.
Yeah.
So I was just like, let's just give it out for free. And then you hope it, moves tickets.
Yeah.
When you were watching the debut of it on YouTube, were you nervous? Did you click into it and be like, nobody's going to watch this? Oh, my God.
It was fun. Yeah, it is. That's the other thing with all the streaming services that I've been on Comedy Central and Netflix before, and like, you only just know by like reaction online.
Yeah.
Like social media interaction, and like, there's never the stress over the numbers. That when it's on YouTube, you go back every hour and be like, oh, that was a slow hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's like, even hits like, and it did great. It's like
Yeah.
1.6 million, I think it is, in a month, which is good. I think we hit the million in 5 days. That's almost the thing. I hit the million in 5 days, and now it's like 1.6, and then you're like, whew, seem to have hit a bit of a wall there. Huh? So you don't know what's going to make people like jump back on it again.
Yeah, no matter how much promotion you put into it, no matter how big you are, I assume that everybody at every level has that moment where they click into it and they're like, what if nobody watches me?
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I would definitely be thinking about that.
Especially all the promotion I did like leading up to it. And then like Ari was great, in the producing of it. Like the day it came out, he made me sit like 5 hours and text every celebrity or person I've met in my life. Some of them did it too, which is pretty funny. Like, hey, lead singer of Living Color. we sort of know each other, and he promoted it for me, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah. That's always a shitty feeling to have to do, like in the content game, to like ask other people to share, because it is what makes kind of the world go round, but it also like it never is fun to just be like, hey, you're my friend, can you do this? Even though we're friends, like, please plug me.
Also, I don't have good karma on that. I have a lot of people that are like, can you post this thing? And I'll just be like, mark as unread.
Yeah, right. And then time comes for you, and you're like, shit, I probably should have replied.
Yeah, and then I'll be crappy. I'll be like, can you believe so-and-so didn't answer the way I wouldn't have? They did not promote their special as well.
Right.
Or just like the week before your special comes out, you just go back through all those messages and just do nothing but promote other people.
Yeah.
Just knowing that you're about to send that text out to them.
Yeah, just build it all up.
Oh.
I also, I was listening to a show you were on, it's probably a month ago. You do a lot of cruises, or you've done a lot of cruises.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated with that, what it's like to be a performer on a cruise, because I've been on a cruise maybe once or twice. They're not the best.
No, they suck.
Yeah, I was gonna, like, it is very weird
I get over them pretty quick.
Yeah, to be on vacation with everyone at the same time. But from a performer's perspective, like, are you just watching the whole thing, being like, what is going on?
Well, it's funny. Whatever day, however many days a cruise is, I feel like, 'cause I've done like I think I've done 3, 4, and 5 days I performed on, and whether it's 5 or 3, the last day you're like, get me off this goddamn thing.
Right.
Like, if I can't look at this buffet or buffet people anymore.
Yeah.
But I've never done like a cruise ship that was like, thank God. That's the thing that it'd be a tail tuck for me because it's just what I do. But if you do like Carnival Cruise Lines or Norwegian Cruise, and you're on just the cruise as the comedian, the rules are insane. There was a comic, like, legendarily got helicoptered off the plane because he went into a girl's room, like, on the cruise ship. They found out he went with like a customer
Right.
into the room. They helicoptered him off the plane because it's such a rule break, apparently.
Right.
But the ones I've all done are chartered cruises, so it could be Carnival or Norwegian, but they're not involved. It's taken over by a thing. So I've done Shiprocked is the one I've done the most. It's a heavy metal cruise ship, so it's
that's
with like
badass.
Korn and Godsmack and all these bands that I've done it with. So that's ruleless. You can go back to anybody's room, but the median weight of females on Shiprocked, I'd say, is about me plus. So it's not a real fuck fest, but
Right.
it is like there are no rules. So it's not so bad in that regard because and then also in your downtime, you could go watch bands play all day long. So
Right.
it's pretty cool. But I mean, I assume, and even that after a while, they suck. You know what I mean? You go and you do them, but they wear thin. I've done the Impractical Jokers a couple times. That's fun. There's a bunch of friends on it there.
Mm-hmm.
So the entertainment wise and stuff to do is better on those, but it's still just after so many days.
Yeah.
And if I was just on a cruise ship where the entertainment was like a Cher impersonator and a comic who has to do cruise ships, it would be
Yeah.
So that sounds crazy. They helicoptered a guy off because you're not allowed to fraternize at all with the other people that are on the cruise. You have to just be by yourself or with the other performers.
Yeah, and you could hang out, I think, with the staff that is from all over the globe.
Right.
So no one has a great grip on English. They just know how to say washy washy and squirt your hands with hand sanitizer.
Yeah. I see you got the X on your hand. Are you straight edge?
No.
That's almost like
That's
stolen.
confusing.
That's like stolen valor
Yeah.
for straight edge people.
So confused. I think the last little bit of ink was getting put into it when someone came up to me and goes, "Straight edge?" And I was like, "Oh, right." No, it's my show. That's the bonfire logo, and that's the mouth of the Legion of Skanks logo. So that's what it's supposed to be. But yes, it does appear that I am straight edge.
Yeah.
It does confuse people when I smoke pot.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say. I
And that's my
definitely-
pot smoking hand.
Yeah. So it was very confusing. Yeah,
Suck
you,
on that, CM Punk.
you started your own festival with Skank Fest, which that's incredible. To have the balls to be hey, let's get everyone together. And it's grown to such a huge level. Did you ever imagine that it would get to the level that people are looking forward to and buying tickets right away to Skank Fest every year?
I didn't even think it was a good idea. I thought it was going to be a failure of an idea. That's the vision of Louis J. Gomez. He really sees it. He knows how to he got Rebecca Trent and Christine Evans, who's my girlfriend for a long time now, to kind of help him. And they're all three partners. Those are the three major partners of the festival. And they put that thing together every year. I'm just a figurehead by name, and it's my podcast. It's kind of the focal point of it. But yeah, that's those guys. I'm small potatoes in my visions. When I did my first Comedy Central special, it was 17 years into doing comedy. I got that, and my agent just reminded me the other day when we finished the second show that night. I went to him and I was like, that was as far as I pictured in comedy.
You reached the end.
I'm like, I don't know what the next thing is. Yeah, I said I wanted to do an hour special that everyone could see. That's it.
Yep.
I'm like, now
Pack
what?
it up.
Yeah.
It's over.
So what is the next big thing for you to conquer? You want to do movies, TV?
Nope. I don't like either of those things. I love broadcasting. I really do.
Yeah.
I really I could do the bonfire with Robert Kelly now. I did it for 8 years with Dan Soder, who's a genius at that stuff. Excuse me, Legion of Skanks. I have so many broadcasting, and that seems to scratch the same itch as stand-up to me.
Yeah.
Acting and stuff, sitting around reading other people's funny words or whatever doesn't really I don't know. I don't like it. I feel every time I've done acting, I was in that movie Hustlers, and within those 3 days I was there, long days, but within that I got to watch J-Lo do the dance she did in the movie, which was insane. Cardi B was there at one point, Lizzo, Usher, and of course J-Lo. And with all of it, the 30 seconds or 2 minutes of actual filming I was a part of every day was not worth the just sitting.
Right.
I still look at those days as nightmarishly long sitting around doing nothing days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were smart to drop out of college.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just sitting in classrooms.
It wasn't
all
my thing.
Yeah, it wasn't my thing. What's I love asking comedians what's the best underrated comedy city in America that you like to go? Because most comedians, and you can maybe tell me I'm wrong, they say Miami sucks.
Yeah. Wow, really? Does everybody say that?
Yeah.
Because Miami sucks.
Yeah. Why is that?
I don't know. Well, for me, it's because whatever reason, that's just a city I just don't draw tickets in.
Okay.
And then people show up for a comedy show, and it's mostly Cubans who want to hear, Cuban household parents are like this, and,
Right.
And I don't have any of that. In fact, I go up there, I'm like, "What's up, Cubans?" And then I start doing a Mexican voice for them, which they don't love.
I think people are just too hot in Miami. Like,
I think
like
it's a city-
physically.
No, but I think you're right. It's a city that does like they want to go party. They want to interact. They're not really into like sitting and observing like a thing. So if I was drawing my own audience, it's. I mean, Tampa is like a great place for me.
Yeah.
But they love Hulk Hogan.
Right.
So
Yeah. I mean, Tampa, like all the retired wrestlers living in Tampa is one of my favorite things about Tampa.
it's so funny.
Yeah.
I like on Monday nights you can go to Hulk Hogan's restaurant and it's just like
I've been.
You know, it's like what happened? Because I just had coconut shrimp with Brutus the Barber beef.
Yeah, yes. There's something about Tampa. It's just like it's just so pure Florida. Like people think of Florida, they think of Miami. I think Tampa is the most Florida of Florida.
No, it is because you get all of it. It's the white trash, the morbidly obese Latinas walking around in short shorts and bathing suits. I mean, just confidence.
Yeah, yeah. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. So
it's a place that's why I would never live there. Florida's too humid for me to live my fat hoodie lifestyle all year round.
Oh, dude, tell me. I mean, I was actually wondering, like, have you been Big J forever? Because that, like, I know personally, like the bodega I go to around the corner from my house, like I'll walk out and there's a guy out there all the time who calls me big guy. And I'm like, that kind of hurts because I know he's not saying that to everyone. You know what I mean? Like he's profiling me. He's like, big guy.
Hey, big man.
Yeah. So were you always Big J?
Yeah, well, the name it was funny. Why that even sticks, like in like comedy and like that I've just always used it was when I first started comedy. I switched schools senior year of high school. I went from Philadelphia to South Jersey for 1 year, and my best friend that I became friends with at that school, his name was Jay also. By the way, 6 foot tall, not little, but he was he started dating a girl who was like kind of friends with the group. So when she would differentiate who she was, she would say Big J and Little J. He's still called Little J, by the way, which is so funny.
That's tough.
And that was it. So then when I started doing comedy, I started in the all-black circuit, and I saw the disregard for a comic's last name by the host was very evident right away. They really didn't. So rather than have it get massacred all the time, I was like, I'll just be Big J.
That's smart.
And then, which worked out. And then when I started getting into the more mainstream stuff, like the mainstream clubs and everything, I just put my last name on it. But I kept Big J. Such a funny, pompous thought because I have none, I'm sure. But I was like, what about all my black circuit fans?
Right.
I don't want them to not know who, they see Jay Oakerson, they're not going to know it's their favorite white comic.
Yeah, you don't want to turn your back on them.
Yeah.
You got your
And it's
start.
funny at 45 getting the question because I always just like give like a half-hearted. They're like, "What do you want me to say? I bring up Big J or just Jay Oakerson?" I'm like,
Yeah,
whatever, man.
whatever.
It's weird if you say one or the other. No, Big J, please.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't fuck this up.
Would you rather be like a slightly portly man, like in Big Cat's example, and have somebody be like, "What's up, big dog," or would you rather be someone who's evidently small like myself and be called like, "What's up, big boy"? Because for me, whenever I get called
Now
like
it's
big
irony.
man, I hate. Yeah, that's the one way that you can really twist a knife. It's like you don't mean that.
I don't know. It's funny. I have so many like internal aspirations to just go shopping at a mall and buy cool jeans and be smaller.
Yeah.
But I also feel like there's like an identity loss in being like too small. Like one thing I've always, not that I haven't had any problems or people fucking with me physically in the world, but I think it's just a little less of like that. You know what I mean? I've also done, just for like argument's sake, squatted down and walked at a height of like a girl I know once, and I was like, what a terrifying world.
Yeah, right.
It looks like everybody's like looming over you when they talk and everything. So it's like, yeah, I guess I'd rather be like a bigger guy than a smaller guy.
Yeah, and you
I
can't
don't
be
wanna-
shredded.
But
Like,
you can't die from small.
yeah, that's true. You can't.
Yep.
Being like,
Well, you can. Yeah, you can. You
No,
just
small-
starve to death.
yeah. Small people do live longer. That is just a fact. Like big dogs, like I know, like there's a moment where my body will just be like, you shouldn't have done all this.
Yeah, but then you also have those years where you're a very heavy problem for everybody.
That's true.
Yeah.
when you can't move so much.
Can't be
You
picked
got to
up.
carry a tank of something with you at all times, connected to nose hoses.
We're going to get back to Big J in a second. He's brought to you by LifeLock. Today, there are more identity threats than you realize, and even if you monitor credit and bank statements, only a little personal information needs to leak out for identity thieves to make you their victim. They can take over your investment accounts, they can open new loans, they can commit other crimes in your name, and more, all while pretending to be you. It can be dangerously easy for identity thieves to use a little leak to put you underwater. That's why LifeLock alerts you to identity threats that you could easily miss on your own. If you do get your identity stolen, you have a dedicated US-based restoration specialist who's going to work to fix it. You don't have to watch your identity go down the drain. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but everyone can save up to 25% off your first year just by going to lifelock.com/PMT. That's lifelock.com/PMT. Get 25% off. LifeLock. Identity theft protection starts here. And now here's more Big J.
Yes. Yeah, you can't get shredded, though, because that's not funny. Like,
Yeah.
there are no
No.
really good-looking comedians.
There's some. I think there's really funny people that are. They have to find. It's almost that's like the harder thing is then you have to find what's like kitschy about you. You can't just be like. It's always been very easy for me to get pussy, and I got a pretty awesome dick.
Yeah, right. Right.
You're not gonna really reel anybody in with that one. So it's
Yeah.
the other thing is like being a big guy, especially young. That was such a funny thing me and Patrice O'Neill had in the beginning of my comedy, because I, as most fat comics will do too, all my jokes in the beginning, again, because I had no limited life experience, where I'm fat, and this is what being fat's like, and this is fat, and I've done this fat thing. And I guess Patrice had a bunch of jokes like that too at the time, like just being fat jokes. And I remember we did a show at Caroline's here in New York one time, the late Caroline's now, years ago, and it kind of telephoned back to me that, or Patrice, I looked up to Patrice so much, and they were like, Patrice says you're stealing his material. And that got me, that frazzled me in so many ways, because one, I look up to him. Two, I was hurt because I know it's not true. And also but I'm like, well, how do I argue this? Like, I don't want to be, if I go argue this with Patrice, like, he's going to win the argument. He's like such a bigger personality and funnier, and there's all these so I kind of ignored him for a while, and I remember he gave me a call, landline, how long ago this was, and his first words, he just goes, I didn't say that you were stealing my jokes. He explained that he was like, I just said to someone, I go, by the time I get on stage closing these showcases, I have nothing to talk about because Jay's doing all fat guy stuff, which made much more sense to me. And then he said, yeah, he goes, but I'm going to he goes, but I shouldn't even have said that, because he was like, you could do with those jokes, do them. He's like, I'm been doing this longer. I don't want to just I got more to say than just simple fat guy jokes. And then as soon as he said that, I was like, well, I don't want to just do simple fat guy jokes either.
Yeah. He's like, yeah.
So I feel like that was such an important moment for me too, to almost be like, yeah, I shouldn't rely, because I don't want to be eventually my thing be taken down by a
fatter guy.
Oh no, a fat guy's going on before me. I'm done.
Yeah. There's another up and coming fatter comedian. You're fucked. You're looking at everyone who's doing the stand in the Comedy Cellar. You're like, wait,
You're checking weights.
His BMI's okay. His
Oh no, he's from Philly too.
oh shit,
God.
we got a fat guy.
And then the anger when a guy who's slightly chubby is like, being a big fat fuck like me, you're like, don't.
Yeah,
You can't take those.
Stolen
You
valor.
can't take that from us.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting. That sounds like a pretty cool thing for Patrice to do, to have the ability to see that, yeah, he's not stealing material. I'll call him. I'll give him some words of encouragement because it got back to him.
Yeah.
He seems like a good guy, and it always seems like in comedy there's always going to be competition, even if they're your friends, if they're your peers. You're all ultimately competing against each other in the same way. But I do think that now that there's more opportunities, that it's just not, you get a special on Comedy Central, you get a special on HBO. Now that there's more opportunities for you to put your own stuff out, I do feel like from the comedians we've talked to, it's become more like, yeah, you can have friends, like true friends that you root for.
No, absolutely. There's so many avenues and stuff too, and I think also that competition thing. And I don't. It's not a. I wonder if that was more of an LA thing. New York, I've always felt much more of a sense. I think it's changed now. I think there's so much splintering with there's a woke comedy scene or something. It's a whole different. It's just crazy shit. But in New York, I felt, because New York didn't really seem to be the bulk of everybody was trying to become a sitcom actor or anything. If you were doing that, you were out in L.A. And I think that competition, but it manifested in a weirder way. In L.A., everyone was super nice to each other, it seemed like. Very complimentary, and no matter what you did. Kevin Hart explained this to me once when he moved out there, like, what the difference was. And he used the example that if I started going, hey guys, I'm start wearing a half top on stage. It's my new thing. Fat guy in a half top. You know, if I walked into the Comedy Cellar or New York clubs like that, there's 5 guys waiting to trash me out of that for my own good, to be like, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
You look like a moron. Like, that's stupid. In L.A., because it's so competitive, when they know it's a ridiculously shitty idea, just in case that idea pops in some way, they're like, brilliant, dude. It's so brilliant, you know, because like you're drawing people, it's brave, it's whatever, you know. So it sounded more supportive, I feel like, in that world. But I've never, like I said, I have no acting, movie star, like TV heavy ambitions at all. So like I feel no competition with any. I love comics. I like bullshitting with them and hanging out with them as much as possible.
I do think, though, I've always thought the idea, like, you know, how the NBA has become, the offseason is almost more exciting than the season for some people, where it's like the trades and the who wants out. If you could find someone who could, like, the Woj or the Shams of the comedy scene, and being like, this guy talks shit about this guy, like, this guy thinks he should be headlining and not opening, like, it would be fascinating to watch.
Oh man, but it would be bad.
Yeah, I would assume it would be very bad very quickly.
Well, you know, I think I can't speak on everybody, but I feel like, especially in my friend groups, there's like my opinion of someone's comedy does not ever affect my opinion of them as like a person. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Now, the people that I choose to be like friends with are people who like, and ever years ago when I started, even I'd kind of like catch shit for that because I was hanging out. I was told by Keith Robinson, who kind of mentored us, do comedy with our like peers and wherever you can get stage time, but kind of hang around the higher ups. You know what I mean? The guys you like look up to, kind of where you want to be. And I would do that, but then I would kind of like catch shit because when I was like a 10-year comic, and it's like he hangs out every day with these like 4 or 5-year comics that are his friends. That'd be like Lewis and Dave from Legion of Skanks. And I'm like, yeah, well, they make me laugh. You know what I mean? It's like, I know they're like young comics and figuring out that, but I was technically still a young comic. You know, I was just a little longer than they were. We talk about that all the time on the show, like the thing, like they couldn't believe. Yesterday on Legion of Skanks, Dave was saying, Dave Smith used to be at my house all the time, and he was broke. And he was like, they thought I was kind of like doing it because I was working the clubs a little bit, but they didn't, you know, I was also broke. And Dave saying that he was impressed that, when we wanted to order food, like I had one of those change jugs that had enough change for us to. He's like, man, this guy can just go pull $20 out of that change jug whenever he wants to.
He's
and
killing
it. Yeah, they were impressed by that.
Yeah.
But again, I never like my friendships were not. And I said like I've always taken people on the regular. Soon, almost to a flaw, I used to get shit for it. That it's like if I had like a pinky inside the door, I was also like, can my friends come?
Right.
Yeah.
Because I like to have like people around and stuff like that. I've gotten better spending time by myself as I got older now. But like when I was younger, I was like, well, get these guys in also.
That's a great quality to have, though.
I want them to be around.
Yeah. So I did cut you off. What's your favorite underrated comedy city?
Underrated comedy system. We said Miami sucks.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's like necessarily a city. Because I think like Denver's like it's people know how great Denver is.
Right.
It's that club, you know. But more, I'd say the most underrated state for comedy is Ohio. Ohio just has a crazy amount of clubs. For me and my like what I prefer with like audiences, it's all blue collar, pretty much. You know what I mean? That's where I kind of flourish, in a place where, again, because of broadcasting, it's truckers, blue collar, factory, warehouse guys, people who can just put in headphones and just do their job all day. And getting them through that kind of thing is like where I tend to do where. So I like those kind of things. And Ohio just has, I mean, so many clubs.
That's crazy. I never even thought
10,
of it.
15 clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of big cities that are slept on in Ohio. Like Columbus is a very, very big city.
Columbus and a great club. Cleveland's got a great club. Cincinnati's got a great club. So it's like, yeah, they're all over the place. Then there's like Dayton and Toledo and these like smaller cities that still have like a funny bone in them you can go do. So I do like that's probably my most underrated.
That's a good answer. How bad did the Eagles Super Bowl hurt you? You were there.
Would have hurt worse if I paid for it, not Bert.
Yeah, that's Max. So our producer, I had a future on the Eagles to win $200,000. I put in August 22-1. So I sent him because he's a diehard Eagles fan. I bought him a ticket for $6,000, and I said if the Eagles win, you don't have to pay me back. But if the Eagles lose, you have to pay me back every dollar. So he had the watching the Eagles lose and then realizing at the end he had to pay for the ticket.
His face isn't enjoying the story.
No.
Yeah, no, my
You're
job
not
on this
you're not
show
over it.
is just a punching bag for all Philadelphia failures. So I'm happy that we could bring up both of them within the past 30 minutes.
It was a hell of a year. Even the sports I couldn't care about, like they're like, they also lost soccer this year.
Yes,
Championship.
Did they?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
On the same weekend they lost the Phillies.
Oh, I forgot about that too.
Yeah, but so you do you like watch every Eagles game? You're into the season and everything.
Yeah. It's hard. I watch every Sixers game too. I watch all 82 games.
Damn.
With minimal exceptions. Sometimes it gets ruined for me, and it's like not worth it to watch it. But for the most part, I'm able to avoid it, and I watch mostly on DVR. Yeah, I'm usually flying home on Sunday when the game's happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it is. It's my complete escape. It's my favorite thing. But Eagles and Sixers primarily.
I love it.
I don't watch hockey or baseball really.
I feel like there's a lot of comedians that just don't like sports. It's weird. Maybe it's just because I don't know. I don't know
They're
what
letting
it is.
so many gays now
But I feel like we have comedians on all
because
the time.
gays are taking over comedy. You said you heard it here
sports
first.
or sports. Maybe it's the other
Or
way.
sports.
Yeah. Comedians are like, no, I'm not watching this. But yeah, I feel like maybe I'm way off. Like,
no, there's plenty that do not care at all.
right.
A bunch of my friends don't care. In fact, I have very few comedian friends who give a shit about sports.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of them couldn't care less. Shane, for sure.
Yeah, Shane loves sports, yeah.
Loves sports very much. Soder cared about sports, but like Joe DeRosa was like good friend. Like, doesn't care.
I always wonder, like, what it would open up so much of my life if I didn't care about sports. My scheduling, like, just like happiness.
Yeah, well, I just say it's what it is. For me, it's like it's an unjudgeable escape from. I guess unjudgeable is wrong.
Yeah, we
but
just
I
called
can't do it.
Embiid a loser.
Yeah, so it's judgeable. But I mean, like, it's just pure, like, there's nothing I can do about any of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just my pure enjoyment. Like,
Yeah.
You know, that's why it says why I fell in love with the Impractical Jokers and Jackass and those kind of shows so much that I'm a fan of is because that's why it's unjudgeable comedy for me. It's like, I wouldn't do that.
Right.
Like, it's something I would. So there's no way I can watch that and be like, it would have been funnier. This could have been, like, I have no idea.
Right.
It's not my, like, thing at all. So it's like, I can appreciate that. I think sports has a similar thing.
Yeah.
It's like sit back and watch these guys go. My emotion towards sports has gotten funnier as I got older.
How so?
Just like the actual like the beautiful story of like a thing. I remember a couple years ago, I think it was the first year the Sixers made the playoffs in like quite some time. And we went to the game. We went to the game one, I think, against the Heat. It was, and they won the first round. This is back when this is before Doc Rivers, still Brett Brown, everything. But they made the playoffs with Embiid, and they showed like the hype video before the game. And my girlfriend and my daughter are both kind of looking at me because I was glassy-eyed for sure.
Yes.
And they were like, "What?" And I was like, "These 12 guys, man, just like they weren't supposed to do anything this year, and they just did so. I'm so proud. Like, just to be proud of guys who I don't know at all. Man, was I proud of them.
Great group of kids.
That is so true, though.
I was saying a couple months ago on this show, they should have, if you go to a therapist, if a guy goes to a therapist, they should give you like a mitt and a ball to throw back and forth with your therapist so that you can open up about all this stuff while just playing catch. And you're like, well, it's not gay because I'm playing sports.
Also, doctor, can you call me Champ?
Yeah. Right. Let me
Hey,
swing
champ.
the bat. Yeah, no, it's true
Hey,
though.
Champ, how's work going?
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure a lot of guys would actually open up in that
Yeah,
situation.
you hitting a home run at work? Just using only sports
Pop,
analogies.
I sure did. I sure did. But man, I remember that game was so funny. How emotional I got. I mean, like I'll go back and watch hype videos for things that like are way over the Super Bowl win year for the Eagles. Some genius put together like a promo, and it's the whole season going backwards. Do you remember seeing that at all? It's like every story has a beginning, I think it's called. I watch it a lot.
Yeah.
And it just goes, it starts at the winning the championship game to go to the Super Bowl, and then it just starts doing everything backwards while playing negative talk clips.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's like them winning against the Falcons, and it's like, you hear what they're saying? Carson Wentz is out. This season's over. And then they show the 61-yard field goal come back to the tee, all the way back to like camp.
Mm-hmm.
And the guys, like, you know, they're starting it all together, and then they drop back on the line, and then it just cuts to Doug Peterson saying, we're better than 9-7, guys. We worked too hard for this. And it just, I'm getting goosebumps telling it to you.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
No, but it's not.
Good, though. You're like, yeah, nobody believed in you guys.
No,
Yeah,
I did though.
That's also the thing, too. He goes,
Yeah.
I knew you guys had this in you.
Yeah. No, it's
But every year of Eagles and Sixers both, I go, at some point, my poor girlfriend, who tries desperately to care but doesn't really, I look over and I go, something special happening this year. At some point in the season, I go, something special here.
Yeah. So are you mad at the groundskeeper for the Super Bowl, the guy that laid that grass down, the slippery grass?
I hate excuses, and I want to say all of them.
no.
Yeah.
But I really,
Yeah.
cleats.
was
That one was
They
fucked
changed his
up.
cleats.
That one was fucked up.
He knew what he was doing.
I was very mad about that.
As a Chiefs fan.
Maybe you should only have to pay $3,000 back because of the grounds.
Yeah, no, he loves the fact that he's saying this. He just always yells at me for making that excuse.
Yeah, because I did like a month
Yes.
long of excuses and like deep dives into the Sodfather, and like everyone was like, "You're a loser for caring this much." And then now I've just like, now that we've removed ourselves, I'm like, Max, remember when you fucking cared so much about this? Like, I would never make an excuse for a lost bet. Fuck that. But you're right. Like something about sports as you get older, it's like you weirdly don't care as much, but then you are like more romantic about it.
Much romantic and don't care, which I think is good.
Right.
That's a good thing. I guess it's more things going on in your life. There was a time, Dan Soder always reminds me, even as short a time ago, I mean, it was still McNabb years. I think it was his last year. And they lost in the playoffs championship game to the Cardinals. That was the Cardinals versus Pittsburgh year.
Yep.
And they lost that game, and everybody was going to stay to watch the second game at my house. And he reminds me, I told everyone, I was like, guys, I'm not watching any more football. And they're like, oh, well, we got to watch the other game. I'm like, I'm done. Like, and I was really bummed and, like, sort of angry, and I really held that for a while. Genuinely, and I'm happy about this. It's good. I love, again, now I look at all the news. I'm reading all the articles, and Doc Rivers is fired, and what do we do next? I'm more, like, into that than I am. So, like, I'm already over the thing. I'm like, they crumbled. What else is new?
Yeah.
I can, like, move on from it much quicker.
Yes.
Was a part of you happy to see Andy Reid win?
No.
You don't love Andy Reid? No,
I do love
residual
Andy Reid. No, for sure, but not against the Eagles.
Obviously not against the Eagles,
Yeah.
but like at the same time, it's like, oh,
No.
good
No, his remaining children,
yeah.
something could have happened to them, and I'd be like, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Whatever makes us win this game. But you have to respect Andy Reid, at least the coach Andy Reid, maybe not the family man.
Yeah.
But I mean, that guy's lost everything to football and just keeps showing up.
Yeah, it's true.
It's the only thing he has.
It is very true.
2 children, I think, right? One's in jail and one's dead.
Yeah, one died, and then one, was in. Yeah, I think he might have. I don't think he killed a kid, but he like.
I think he did.
It was like vehicular manslaughter.
Like I think the kid is in very bad shape. Yeah, not great.
No. Do you remember when Hulk Hogan's kid?
Yes.
Was racing around and
Nick.
he smashed into a tree and his friend became a vegetable.
Yeah.
And then they had the Hulk Hogan audio of the phone call, and he was like, I don't know what your friend did wrong with God, brother, that brought that kind of karma down on him. He goes, your son drunkenly driving into a tree?
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
He's like, man, I don't know what your friend did. Seemed like a good guy, but he must have some darkness we're unaware of.
He's hanging around the wrong crew. It sounds like.
Anything wiretapped or illegally filmed with Hulk Hogan has not gone his way, I would say.
Now, good commercial for that big thick wiener though, right?
Yeah.
Remember that video?
Pringles can.
Guy had a dangler.
He did. All right, I have one last question. It's Roback question. Promo code TAKE, 20% off your first purchase. Q-Zips, polos, hoodies. joggers, shorts, everything. Actually, speaking of shorts, I got to ask Big J, your look. I love your look.
Thank you.
It's kind of like stuck in the 90s, but in a good way.
Sure.
Is that like the jorts? You don't see jorts
Enough.
I would say enough at all. I love it though, because there does seem like some comedians they hit success, which you've hit success, and they might go on steroids or get skinny or buy designer clothes. I like it.
No, this is my you know what? I didn't dress when I was young any way that I necessarily would have been my first choice. Not that I hated it or anything how I was dressing, but it was all kind of choice of sizes. It's nothing being like a big guy. When I was younger, I would have dressed much more like rock band shirts and all that kind of stuff, and I just never did because I just went with like the flow of everybody. And that was whether it be the one strap-off overalls or whatever the '90s brought.
The Old Navy striped shirt,
the pleated pants,
tech vest.
Yeah, just everything. I would try everything, trying to be the versus like what I wanted to do. So then, when I got the confidence to just do that, I did. But I know it's open to scrutiny, which I'm fine with also.
No, I like this. You're like the I mean, I kind of do it every day where it's like being an adult's awesome. I can eat ice cream every night.
That's right.
Like
yeah.
I can dress however I want. This rules.
Yeah. I feel like a white ghost face killer.
I like the look.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's like if you go to a place that wouldn't let you in while you're wearing jorts and a hoodie, is that a place you want to be in?
Nope.
Probably not.
Fuck no.
No, but it's also weird when they let me into a place because they do recognize me, and then you're like, I shouldn't go in actually because if you're not supposed to wear them, I really don't want to be that sore thumb either.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Does that happen a lot now?
I just did something I did Gutfeld on Fox News the other day for the first time, and I went there, and as I was meeting the panel backstage, I was like, oh, I didn't even overthink that I'm going to be the guy with a knee-ripped jeans and big combat boots on, and everybody else is like in a wonderful suit.
Mm-hmm.
And the girls were dressed to the nines, and it was like I sat there. I'm like, what are we talking politics? Hey, don't mind my knee and hand tattoos. Oh, this? No, I'm not straight edge. I'm just an idiot.
The straight edge tattoo is very funny.
Yeah, it is.
You're not straight edge because I'm sure you get that all the time. All the time.
Go to a bar, order a drink. They're like, tough week for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like,
Finally
hey, wait a
snapped.
second, you're 17.
It's my first beer ever.
That's the old me.
I kicked that habit of not drinking. All right, well, thanks so much for coming by,
Dude,
man.
thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Go check out Dog Belly now. Good luck to the Eagles, and sorry about the Sixers.
It's gonna be a big Eagles year. Big Eagles
think
year,
so?
dude. Yeah, I do.
He's as down as he can be right now. It's rock bottom for him.
Because the Sixers?
Life.
The Sixers and then the soul patch also is just no good.
Yeah.
Those are the only two things? You're doing all right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
sure.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to say girlfriend left him because the Eagles and Sixers lost.
Well, he
No.
slept with his girlfriend's roommate.
Yeah.
That's not.
She caught
that's
him.
not true.
Nice.
Well, yeah, you
Wait,
did.
wait,
No, you did.
you slept with her.
I felt. We don't have to get into all this.
No,
I
he
fell
can,
asleep.
though.
He fell asleep in his girlfriend's
I slept
roommate's
walk.
bed.
I slept walk one night. Bit of drinking the night before, and I woke up in my roommate's or my girlfriend's roommate's bed.
Yeah.
Slept with her.
With
Innocent.
the roommate.
Yeah.
Asleep
Yeah.
in the bed.
She never woke up and realized that a person crawled into her bed?
She was also drinking. I don't know if
Yeah.
I should say.
It happened.
Don't
Yeah,
remember
it
does
happened.
count.
It happened. I mean, if we're talking technicalities, you're not a big baseball fan?
No, I mean, I got into the World Series. You know what happened with me? My stepfather, when I was young, he got it with my mom when I was like 11. And then he was super in like the Phillies. So I started watching. And then because his explanation of it and his enjoyment of it got me into it. We went to a couple games. That was 93.
Oh.
And they went to the World Series.
Yeah.
What a personality that team had. And then the
Joe
Joe
Carter,
Carter.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think I have this number right. I think for 13 years after that year, they were like the worst team in baseball, or one of them always. They barely made the playoffs, if ever, in those 13. I don't think they made the playoffs in 13 years. And then 2008, I was just already kind of out of it, like
Right.
not caring about the sport. But this last one I watched. I did enjoy like the World Series. I mean, didn't enjoy how it worked out, but
Yeah, so that one game when you guys got no hits, was that a no-hitter?
yeah, I think someone threw a no hitter again. But there was,
Yeah,
but there was, What was fun was to come back and watch. I think the first one I watched the full game was them just rocking the home run.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
the game before. That was sick.
that was like a hell of a game.
Yeah,
so
a
I was
lot
like,
of hits.
Oh, maybe this
Yeah.
is awesome.
Shitload of hits. And
Tons
then you
of
got
hits.
no hits the next time.
I think at the end of that game, I was like, maybe I'll start watching the Phillies next year.
This
And
is
then the next couple
awesome.
games, I was like, oh yeah, baseball.
Yeah.
Like when it ain't going good, it's so boring. That's what it hit me. I was like, it's a very boring game if your team's terrible.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's
Yes.
so many of the games.
So many games.
But I did. I say I watch 82 games a year. The Sixers. I watched the 10-win season. So much so that at one point my girlfriend goes, "I don't know if it's like good for you, like your physical health of
Yeah.
like, watching this, because like you're coming home every day like to escape into this game, and by halftime they're down by 20." You're thinking about buying an Ish Smith jersey because it's the only player on the team doing anything.
Yeah, that's a lot of losses. That's a lot of bad days that you're forcing yourself to
72
have.
losses.
Yeah, that's so many losses.
That's brutal. So I do appreciate where they are now for sure. I said it's why it doesn't like take the steam out of me so much. I'm like, you know what? They gave us. It's my adult approach to all of it. I go, hey man, we're only supposed to get 82 games, and we got
There you go.
That's
we
great.
got like 90 something.
And it's a great group of kids out there.
Yeah.
James Harden.
They
trying
come
hard.
together,
Yeah.
and they do what they did. And these guys.
I love it. Well, thanks so much,
Thank
Jay.
you
We
for having me.
appreciate it.
This episode of Part of My Take is presented by Duracell. Few sports are more technically demanding than auto racing. Because of those standards, Williams Racing only trusts one brand of disposable batteries, Duracell. We were just down in Miami, maybe the new title town. We were down there a couple weeks ago for the F1 race, got to hang out with the Williams crew and with Duracell. Had a blast, did the simulator, did the reaction timing thing. It was a lot of fun down there. You might not think that you need the same batteries that help power Williams Racing until you do. That's because Duracell is engineered for more. They're a proud partner of Williams Racing and of Part of My Take. You can learn more at Duracell.com. I actually just went out to the store the other week. I was getting ready for the move. I need more batteries. Stocked up on Duracell. I'm talking AAAs, AA's, D's. That's right. I got D's. Learn more at Duracell.com.
Okay, let's wrap up. Billy, you want to leave? Yeah. Billy hasn't seen the Succession finale. Spoilers if you haven't seen it. PFT. I loved it. That rocked. Oh, wait. Hank's out here too. Hank has
hasn't
not
seen it
seen
either.
it as well. Similar to the stream tonight, Hank's leaving early.
Interesting.
I loved it. I thought it was perfect. I want to know your thoughts. We haven't talked about it at all. I do like the conspiracy theorists out there that think just because we have a max ad deal now, we just started watching Succession. We have watched all 4 seasons. It was one of my favorite shows. I know the stupid debates of like, is it a all-time great show? I don't fucking know. I just know that I really liked the show, and the characters were incredible, and the acting was awesome, and it was a great series finale. I thought they did a great job.
Yeah, in retrospect, they couldn't do anything funny with it. Like, there were a lot of theories out there that they were going to have Greg inherit the company. There were some other ones out there that were kind of like, they were fun like that. But it wouldn't have gone along with the theme of the show in general, which is just like tragedy. And the way that Kindle ended, they left it kind of ambiguous when he was staring out at the water. I thought that was a great last scene because he's looking out at the water. Roman had just talked earlier about how the water is like all connected, like through the channels and tributaries, like it's all connected across the world. Roman's looking out at the water. Sorry, Kindle's looking out at the water and thinking about probably the guy that he killed.
Yeah.
That drove.
No, he
off the
didn't.
cliff
That
into the
didn't
water.
happen. That did not happen.
Did not happen. He's probably also thinking about the time where he almost died in a swimming pool underwater, and he's thinking about jumping over the edge. I actually read an interview with the actor that plays Kindle, and he said there was one take where he just walked up to the edge and tried to jump in, and the guy that plays his bodyguard, his only friend at the end,
Colin.
the actor actually had to come and like take him down off the ledge, which is just kind of perfect because the dude that Jeremy Strong plays Kindle, kind of a weird guy. He makes people like very uncomfortable on set because he's like almost kind of method with it. And he just went rogue on that one and decided to almost kill himself in character at the end. But I liked how they wrapped everything up, giving Tom, who's just basically a big plastic sheet of paper, the title of CEO, where he's just going to be the pain sponge.
Yes.
For Madison at the end. I thought that was a good way to wrap it up.
It's so perfect because everyone lost. like even Tom, who's the winner, he has to go be CEO for a guy who the night before was like, I want to fuck your wife, and I think she'd probably fuck me too. That's his boss now. Like, he has to go and be that guy's pain sponge. Like, so he achieved technically the win because he's the CEO, but there's no like happiness in Tom's life. He got what he wanted, but what he wanted was just this like people shaking his hand and respecting him and having this like empty power. And then all the other, like the siblings, that scene when they're in the boardroom fighting, it was essentially what Shiv said in the funeral episode when she's like, yeah, we were always outside, like, you know, messing around while like dad did business. Like, that's what they were doing. The business was happening and they were in this room, side room, fighting with each other, like saying the meanest shit to each other. Shiv ends up being essentially like her mom. She just like, she's now the wife of the power. She's like, she doesn't win anything. Roman nailed it, was like, we're just all bullshit. He goes back to his life of being insanely rich. And then Kendall, like, he was from episode 1 of the entire season, was aspiring to have this role that he, like, just because he was the eldest boy. Like, that was, there was no other, like, qualifications that he had. He didn't do anything well. He was a tragic figure. But, like, the part where he's like, yeah, dad told me when I was 7 that I was going to run the company. Like, that's what he lived with his entire life, where he was like, this is my destiny. I am going to be the CEO of Waystar Royco just because of who I was born, like where I was born.
I actually think the one guy that is going to have the happiest life after this is probably Roman, because he's still got billions of dollars and he's just going to go off and be like a drunk, horny, weird asshole on his own, which is what makes him the happiest. Is when he's doing that type of shit. He never actually wanted real power. He just wanted to be able to be a dickhead to people. And he can still do that if you have billions of dollars. So I think he's going to be happy after the fact. Tom is maybe the biggest cuck in the history of television.
It's crazy.
So for the foreseeable future, his boss is not giving him any power, going to make him act like he has all the power, but just cuck him behind the scenes in terms of business, while also literally cucking him by fucking his wife and just being like, hey, here's how it's going to end up. I'm going to be dominating you on and off the court for the rest of your life, but you get to smile and just pretend like it's fine. And Tom is like a sick son of a bitch. So he's like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's actually the best outcome that I can hope for in this instance. I think Tom getting the company at the end is perfect, because that he's not going to like do anything substantial with it. He's never been a guy that makes moves.
Right.
He's a reactive person. So he's just going to get fucked over for the rest of his life, but he's still going to have Greg around, and him taking Greg back at the end
perfect
was awesome, because he needs his own punching bag to beat. He can only absorb so many body blows from his boss and from his wife. He needs to have an even sadder, more pathetic guy that's forced to hang out with him and just get dominated. So Tom at least has like one outlet for any rage or aggression that he might still have. He's like, yeah, you're disloyal. You don't really bring anything to the table, but you're very easy to make fun of and just bully. So I'm going to pay you to be my bitch.
The slap fight in the bathroom was so perfect. And yeah, you're right. Like, Greg, his entire story arc was essentially just being like the biggest weasel out there. He was obviously the comedic relief in the show, but he was a weasel. He was blackmailing, he was information trading, and he essentially just made one move too many when he was quadding up with the Roy siblings, and but still he ends up right where he started, like being Tom's bitch. I just thought like it was weird, because I think like that show was so good because all those people are such terrible, awful people, but you did find yourself rooting for them a little bit. And it was nice at the end where no one won, because they're all terrible, awful, terrible people. So it was like, I know that sometimes people want like this winner or, to feel satisfied, but like that was why I liked it so much. Because like, oh yeah, these are horrendous people. And guess what? They're still all insanely rich beyond belief. Like they all, I think someone did the math. They all like have like $2 billion in the payout. So they all have everything, but they have absolutely nothing. And that's why I loved it. Like, they all lost everything, yet they're still richer than anyone could ever believe or anyone could ever possibly attain. And I like, even the Shiv part, people were pissed at Shiv. I loved it just because she got fucked over by her siblings constantly. She got fucked over by her dad. She got fucked over by her husband at the end of season 3. Finally, she was like, fuck this. Like, I'm going to fuck you over back. Like, there was no one ever showed her loyalty. Why would she ever do that back?
You know who actually ended up the best, now that I think about it, is Connor. Connor spent $100 million on his presidential campaign and got like 0.5% of the vote nationwide. And now he's the ambassador to Slovenia. And I guess his wife is just going to hang out in the United States and like be an actress or whatever.
Yeah, long
he's
distance.
An ambassador.
Long distance. 2 week. I think Kendall said, 2 week itch.
Yeah.
So perfect.
Yeah, no, but good for Connor. Connor's living the dream, man. Just going over to Slovenia, hanging out, probably drinking some grappa.
Dude, and not only that, but Connor, that scene when they had the virtual dinner with dad thing that they watched, that scene was basically showing all of us that Connor was the only one who had a relationship with his father that meant anything. Everyone, all the other 3 kids were just transactional. Like, they want to be like the next in line. Their dad promised it to him at various points, played him like a fiddle, trust issues, all that shit. Like, watching that scene is like, oh wait, Logan Roy did have friends and Connor was his friend. Like, they had a relationship that wasn't just purely who's getting your company when you die. And I thought that was perfect too, where it's like all 3 of these terrible people just fought tooth and nail, backstabbing each other constantly to try to get essentially their father's love and become like the successor, when Connor was just an oddball, barely on screen, and he got the one thing that none of them would ever get, and that was like friendship with their father.
Mm-hmm. I did miss Brian Cox in the last season a little bit.
Yeah.
I understand why he had to go and how that was like used to advance the plot, but I missed having him on screen because he's such an awesome actor. I've gone back. I've started watching some old Brian Cox stuff. Did you know that he was the first Hannibal Lecter? He was Hannibal before Anthony Hopkins was in the movie. I think it was Manhunter.
Oh,
and that was like, if you've ever seen Red Dragon, I think
Yeah.
Red Dragon was a remake of Manhunter? One of these. I think it was Manhunter. And he's fucking awesome in it. I watched like 10 minutes of clips of him as Hannibal Lecter. Awesome actor. Incredible.
Super Troopers.
Super Troopers, everything. Yeah. Adaptation.
Yeah.
You name it.
Yeah. It was a great show. I loved it. My test for all movies and shows is, do I wake up the next day thinking about it? And I did. Like, I woke up this morning thinking about the finale, thinking about the whole show. I will probably rewatch it. I don't know where it is, like, you know, the immediate rankings. I have no fucking idea. Like, I like Sopranos more. If you tell me you like Succession more than Sopranos, cool. That works. I don't know. It's TV. Like, it's subjective.
Yeah. I also liked Roman's shirt that he was wearing at the end, which is like the little boy's shirt that he wore once he went to his mom's house, and his mom like gave him some clothes to put on. Somebody looked it up, and that's like a $9 shirt that you can buy at Walmart.
That's perfect.
And everything else that they wear in that entire show is like, you know, even the black T-shirts that they wear are $500 designer black T-shirts.
The mom just like not liking the idea of eyes was so perfect. What a fucking crazy, crazy woman she was. Like the little blobs in your skull. Who wants those? But yeah, great series. Reminder, we're gonna do Bloodsport on Friday. So we're gonna do a review of Bloodsport. Go download Max. This wasn't an ad, this was just us talking about Succession. Good show, everyone. Hank, good show.
Good
Feel
show.
better?
No.
You don't?
No.
You feel worse?
Yeah.
PFT, we lost him.
His headphones cut out.
His headphones cut out. I was wondering. I was like, I feel like he just stopped mid-sentence there. He's coming back. PFT, just say a number.
69.
No, I didn't say numbers yet. That's a false start.
You just said say a number.
Yeah, I said say a number. I didn't say numbers. Numbers.
69.
No, you're false start. You're going last. Text PFT to say a number.
I'll do 69.
Okay, 69.
18.
43.
43 for PFT.
Wait. We gotta go to the board for that. You said say a number.
I said say a number. I didn't say numbers.
I thought you said numbers.
No, I said say a number. You know I said say
Look,
a
I
number
think-
because you said say a number.
I think if 69 hits today, we really need to go to the rules committee.
Okay, well,
to
Hank has it, so
look at-
hopefully, Hank, I'm rooting for you.
No, this.
I'll go 17. Billy?
I'm gonna go with the only other number I've won with, 21.
Okay.
Actually, I shouldn't let this happen. That was
Memes.
total.
Memes, have you ever gotten this?
Nope. 59.
You've never gotten this?
Never gotten it.
Okay.
20.
What did PFTC? 43?
43.
I shouldn't be letting this happen.
That's going
There
right
was an
now.
egregious-
It's already going. It's already going.
Oh, thank God, it's not 69.
It's 9. I really wish that would have been 69. Billy
it
would
was
have had
69,
an all-time fucking freak out.
I'm gonna be honest. I'd destroy this whole studio.
He would have freaked out.
I would have.
He would have freaked out.
I would have probably destroyed the ball machine.
Yeah. Okay. Great show. Reminder, Friday. Friday we're back. PFT actually will be back in studio with us. So Friday we're back. And we'll see you then.
Love you guys.
You got an animal fact?
I got distracted. Wait.
He got distracted.
Beelzebubs were a
bit in my
gigantic
ass.
frog that
He's so
ate
mad at me
dinosaurs.
about 69. that
It
didn't even
was
hit.
in my head. I was like, because there was a possibility. It
PFT,
could've
when I said
happened.
your headphones cut out, I said say a number. Is that the same as saying numbers?
You said say a number to the whole crew.
I just said say a number to you specifically. And then
Yeah,
Billy
that's the
said
same.
69. That's offsides.
Well, I didn't hear him coming in. I just heard say a number.
Say a number.
I thought
Got
you were
it.
telling me to say a number.
Well, it's no harm, no foul.
Yeah. Now
Billy,
it was.
We
I
almost
was,
had Billy just go
I-
full aggro.
I
on
was
us.
literally. I didn't have my fact ready because I was going through hypothetical rage scenarios in my head. It was like I got dimensionally angry. Where
Let's
there's
do one more number.
There's another.
Let's do one more number.
There's another like time space where it did hit 69.
All right. Yeah, you're right.
And I felt the rage of that
Mm-hmm.
guy in this dimension.
Okay, let's do one more number.
Okay.
You want to do one more number, PFT?
Sure.
Numbers.
69.
69.
I got it.
Oh, PFT's lag, so I think we're
No,
going to give it to
my
PFT.
reaction speed was much faster
Let's flip a coin.
because he's no. We're not flipping a coin.
Yeah.
No,
flip
I
a
said
coin.
it immediately when
we
Big Cat
can't-
said numbers. It was
flip-
No, no,
immediate. It was
no, no.
instantaneous.
Flip a coin.
No, if
PFT, call heads or tails.
no, why
Heads.
does he get to pick it?
It's a heads.
No, show me the coin. No, you could have flipped it.
Heads.
No,
Heads.
no.
PFT got 69. What's your
69.
18.
21.
I'll go
2020
17.
all over again.
What do you got? Billy, what's your number?
21.
Hank already said it.
45.
Oh, big T, man. 17.
59.
Memes, you still haven't gotten this
Still haven't gotten it.
since the last time?
Still haven't gotten it.
$72.
Oh my god.
Damn, we could have gotten such aggro, Billy. Want to do one more, Billy?
Yeah,
All right.
you know what? Let's do it. Let's
See-
do it.
see you guys on
I'm
Friday.
leaning in.
See you guys on Friday.